The Fantastic Four First Steps first trailer dropped last week. In the first 24 hours, it got over 202 million views.
Just the fact that they've done such a fantastic job with fucking up 1 through 3.
Yeah.
Right? They're craving that, okay, let's just get this thing right this time. Hopefully.
I'm going to make a prediction here. I think Nicholas Hoult will cook as Lex Luthor.
Remains to be seen.
Yes. You're not sold yet.
No. I like how he starts.
Right.
You know, obviously, very mechanical suit.
Yep.
Something homemade. So that was pretty cool.
I like his homemade suit.
Yeah. And then, the whole race swapping of like literally everybody. Come on, dude.
Yeah. No, it's a little odd. What I'll say though, I agree with Roman a little bit. They just race swapped everyone who's asking for that. But what I will say is it feels like Spider-Man.
Yes.
They hit the tone. They hit all the same beats.
All in all, it's entertaining. It's engaging. It's cool if you get over the other stuff.
Yeah.
But it's just like, who asked for...
Right.
I mean, the only white person in the thing, it's like the complete opposite.
Spider-Man, yeah.
It's like the complete opposite, dude.
Anthony Mackie came out and he was like, I never looked at Superman as like, I want him to be black. I just looked at him as, I want to be Superman.
I agree.
You agree with that?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Welcome to Only Comics. I'm Mike. This is Adrian.
What's up, man?
What's up, bro?
Little bit of snow.
Shit.
Well, actually, a lot of snow.
Yes. 6 to 8 inches, as they say.
Yep.
Yeah. We'll keep you busy all weekend long,
No, dude. That's what money is for, dude. Pay somebody to come do that shit.
For real, dude. It was messy. What's funny though is it snowed the other day and we had like 2 inch, not even, maybe like 1.5 inches.
Right, some dusting.
The dusting. But the roads were messier then than they were today.
Well, I think it's because, they were prepared for it.
Right.
And they started like last night or something. Because I heard them dropping, how it sounds like the Hulk just landed.
Yes.
When they dropped those the shovels off the trucks.
Yep.
And so they started late last night.
Yep.
So they've been on it.
Destroying the roads, creating potholes, fucking up your mailboxes, all kinds of shit.
Yep. The roads that they just fixed this summer, it's already cracking.
Exactly. But I will say, kudos to the DOT. Y'all did a fucking great job. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. So
keep doing that
keep
shit.
up the good work. Yeah. Don't fuck it up next time, But we're back, dude. We were gone. We were in the multiverse a little bit.
Yep.
We came back for other stuff, though. So actually, we have a membership now, Adrian, and some of our fans helped name it. So I don't even know if you know the name of it yet.
Nah.
The first tier, there's only one tier now. It is called the Legion of Interns.
Nice.
So we have
like
a whole team out there doing interns working with us now.
Well, unfortunately, this league is not here.
No, they're not here. But they have, you have a coffee now. Look at that shit.
Sure.
We had the membership, and all of a sudden you got a coffee.
It's amazing how that works.
Dude, yeah, absolutely. So pretty soon we're going to have more than coffee, dude. We might have like a little barista in here.
There we go.
Maybe. But appreciate all you guys that signed up for the membership. So this drops, today's Monday when you're watching this, most likely. And in a couple of days, there'll be an Other Stuff podcast dropping where we get into all the other stuff, the stuff we kind of put on the shelf when we're here.
Right. And maybe a little comics.
A little bit of comics, yes. So, but we got a lot of comics today on this show. So we'll dive right into it, Adrian. The Fantastic Four First Steps first trailer dropped last week. So we did talk about this on Other Stuff. We didn't talk about it here yet for, the whole squad. In the first 24 hours, it got over 202 million views.
Damn.
Now, for reference, Superman, the DCU's project, in that same time span got 250 million views. So slightly lower than that. But I wanted your opinion on this. When you look at like tiers of characters, we talk about this a lot with like Iron Man, right? He was not an A-list comic book character.
Yep.
Once the MCU, was launched and they did what they did with Iron Man, I think he became an A-list MCU character. Superman's A-list. I mean, he's probably the most well-known comic book character in the world, right?
Correct.
Like the average person who doesn't read comics, has never seen a comic book movie, knows who Superman is.
Well, it's like what are the top words in the world? Hello, goodbye, yes, no, and Coke.
Go fuck yourself. Is that a top one?
No, not go fuck yourself.
Okay.
The top comic book characters without you being in comics at all is probably going to be Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, and then you get into like Wonder Woman, things like that.
Right. So the fact that, you would say the Fantastic Four are not a top A tier. Like most people are not going to know the Fantastic Four.
They're not. Well, by association, like if they delve into it a little bit, by knowing the Avengers, you're going to hear about the Fantastic Four. Things like that.
They're kind of that next tier, right? Like if you got Spider-Man, Superman, Batman, A level.
Right.
B level is probably Fantastic Four, X-Men.
The teams. The Avengers, Fantastic Four,
Captain America.
Things like that.
So when I hear this, to me, this is impressive. The fact that it's
absolutely
$202 million, and the Superman trailer, which was great as well, $250 million. It means there's a lot more interest in this movie than I think a lot of us suspected.
I think a lot of it is like that people are hungry for the reboot, not the reboot as far as them, new team, new era, things like that, but just the fact that they've done such a fantastic job with fucking up 1 through 3.
Yeah,
right. People are looking for, they're craving that, okay, let's just get this thing right this time, hopefully.
Yeah. I mean, so far, looks like that. Now, we talked about the trailer in depth on the other stuff, Members Only podcast. And actually, if you are looking to join that, because there was some confusion, people were like, dude, how do I sign up? I'm trying to. If you go to our YouTube channel, the main channel, right next to the subscribe button, there's a join button. So that's where you do that. But this trailer, the one critique that a lot of people had online was like, I say a lot of people, stupid people. Just think about the world, Adrian. There's smart people, there's in the middle, and there's stupid people.
Sure.
Right? So stupid people
just like economics.
There you go.
Yep.
So stupid people are like, the CGI doesn't look good on the thing. And now, my thing about this, we're just on it today, dude. Like, I think it must be the Superman shirt.
That's it. No, it's the interns.
It is the interns, but they got us motivated.
Well, they free us up so we can do that on the spot creativity.
Absolutely, dude. So the thing about the CGI, if you hire me to shovel your driveway, you've shoveled your driveway before, right? So you know what a good driveway shoveling is, and what a shitty one is, right?
Correct.
Now, if you're not a CGI artist, do you really have the ability to go, that's just bad CGI off of a 30-second trailer? Do you think that that's fair?
As a consummate consumer, which most Americans are, right? We don't make anything; we just consume everything else, right?
Shit.
You become a professional critic.
Yes.
For example, you don't know how to make cars, but you know what a shitty car is versus a nice car.
True.
You don't know what shitty clothes are, but you because especially if you spend all your time buying out of Walmart, right? You know the difference. Yeah. So coming from that perspective, I do think that people have the ability to determine whether or not it's bad CGI versus, in other words, they look at something and it's like, that doesn't add up. The math is not mathing. The triangles aren't right. It's not smooth. It's not this. So I say that they have some level of some capability to determine good versus bad.
Got it. That's fair. But I would say with this thing, I think that, my theory, the people that are saying bad CGI, I think they just don't like the design of the thing.
Sure.
I don't think, because to me, bad CGI would be like, let's remember where CGI came from. Like how bad it was back in the day.
Right.
Bad being like you could just... The Hulk, you could just tell it's fake, right? Now, we are at a point where CGI is at an amazing level now, but it's still not like photorealistic.
Correct.
There's still that slight, so you're still going to be able to tell somewhat.
Right.
But when you saw this CGI thing, did you have that same feeling, all bad CGI?
Well, my thought was that it's very good, but I also think the whole reason that, and while you're bringing this up, I think that the whole reason that they made it retro with that, it's almost like milk is over the screen.
Yeah, it's like a filter,
It's like a filter. That was to make the thing CGI fit into that movie. So it's not like they couldn't have made the Fantastic Four with the Real Engine 5 or 6 or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But the CGI is adequate enough because, believe it or not, having rock move to where it looks like it's real is probably a little hard to do.
Absolutely.
Right? Because the light, the reflection, every facet, it's like a diamond. Every time you move this thing, the light hits it a different way. Right. I'm assuming that it's kind of hard to make that look real as possible.
Correct.
So therefore the filter, therefore the movie, retro, it all works for me. So I don't give a shit.
Yeah. I also think, now that you put it, we're all professional critics. Sometimes we're a little too critical. Like, just shut the fuck up and enjoy the movie.
Right.
Like, the movie is great, and some of the CGI isn't perfect.
Sure.
I don't give a shit.
Sure.
This kind of goes back to video games. There's some video games that were launched in the past where, from a graphic standpoint, some of the most beautiful games you've ever seen in your life.
Right.
But then you start playing, and you're like, this game is shit.
Right. The lag, the pixelation, all that kind of bullshit. Yeah.
Yep. Or just the gameplay in general. Like, this game's boring. This game sucks. Then there's games that don't have it, the best graphics in the world, but the game.
Dig Dug.
Yeah, Dig Dug.
Galaga.
Yeah, like those. But they hold up though. Like,
exactly.
Partly joking, but not. Like,
but that's what you expect,
right?
Yep. Don't show me a steal that looks like Real Engine 5.
Correct.
But then when I start playing it, I got Dig Dug.
Yep. Absolutely. So yeah, I'm not buying into that. I think if you say that, you're just literally craving attention. You just want to be cool and edgy. Like, it's the CGI is so bad. Oh my god, bitch, you do it. Fuck.
Right. While you're at it, why don't you go and fight the fires in California? Too?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
You want to sit on the couch because if you're gonna complain about the CGI, you're gonna complain about the firefighters not doing a better job and this and that.
And actually, while you're at it too, maybe get Kanye West to get off Twitter for a little bit, because I don't know if you've seen any of his tweets, bro. We'll talk about that on other stuff, but dude, he will. Holy shit! You see anything?
Nah, dude. I don't watch that shit, dude.
Oh my god, it just bubbled up. Like you always say, if it hits the radar, but holy shit, yeah,
it's bad.
Oh yeah, I mean he's calling himself a Nazi, all kinds of shit. Yeah, so anyway, that's the other side. We get into that some other time.
All right.
We'll get into that in the members only podcast.
There we go.
For the Legion of Interns. So I mean, this trailer, it was the most traffic that Marvel Studios has seen in a trailer that was a non-sequel. So that's a big deal too, because think about like the Avengers movies. They had more views in the first 24 hours, but those are built on years and years.
Correct.
This is, as much as, it takes place in the MCU, it's kind of a standalone story.
Right.
It's not an origin story for the Fantastic Four, but it's kind of an origin story for them into the MCU.
Correct.
Right? Like, we're going to learn who they are, where they are, and I'm assuming they're going to show us how they go from their universe to Earth 616. Okay. So it is almost a standalone movie. Right. So the fact that this thing has this many views, it means the interest is there. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah.
Now, which movie, now that you've seen both trailers, which movie are you looking forward to more?
Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because of something you've seen in the trailer, or just because you're more of a Fantastic Four fan?
I'm more of a Fantastic Four fan. I mean, I like Superman.
Yeah.
But I'm more interested in, like I said before, them doing this right and erasing the atrocities that came before it.
Right. Same. Yeah, I agree. I'm looking more forward to the Fantastic Four. Although I do think Gunn's going to do a great job of Superman.
Yeah. I
think it's going to be I think we'll all be satisfied with both of these. We'll be, they drop within a few weeks of each other. It's going to be a fun month for us comic fucking nerds.
Please erase these last couple of months, man, because we've been in just like the pit of no entertainment for the last couple of months.
And just to recap some of the things that, stood out to me in the trailer, I love the Thing design. Yep. I love the overall look. The suits, like they're retro. They look like they came off the page of a comic.
Right.
Like we've had 3 movies now, and it took them 3 movies to just put the 4 in the middle of the suit. You know what I mean? Like it's simple shit like that, dude, that just drives me insane.
Yeah.
It'd be like taking Batman's bat symbol and putting it on his arm.
Correct.
Like, why? Just to be cool and different? They're like the professional critics, dude. Joseph Quinn as Human Torch. We saw a little bit. What'd you think of him so far?
Actually, none of the characters fit my idea of that family.
Okay.
Like literally none of them. But I'm not going to shit on
from
them.
a look standpoint.
From a look standpoint.
What about now? It's hard to really gauge because this is one trailer, but we saw a little bit of each character. From a portrayal, do you think it's going in the right direction?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm not going to shit on them because I haven't seen the movie. I haven't seen most of these actors or actress in other things.
Yeah.
But to me, ideally, ideologically, they don't fit, the Reed, the Sue, the Johnny, the Ben. But anyway, you go ahead with your things that stands out to you, then I'll get into mine.
I'll say hearing, because Pedro Pascal, I was 50-50 on. Right? We talked about it a lot here. From a look standpoint, no, he doesn't look like Reed off the page of a comic.
Right.
But he's a phenomenal actor.
Yes.
And the minute he spoke, I was like, that's Reed.
Okay.
Like just the voice, like he transformed into Reed. And I think the same thing I could say about him as far as the Last of Us series? Because you've watched The Last of Us.
I have.
You've never played the video game.
No.
So everyone said the same thing, myself included. How the fuck is this guy playing Joel?
Right.
But same thing, dude. The minute he spoke, it was like, that's Joel.
But see, I've never seen Joel in the game.
Yeah, so you have no reference.
I have no reference.
Right. But a lot of fans are like, there's no how that guy's not Joel. Okay. He's not Joel. But the same, after watching that, they're like, oh, he's Joel.
Okay.
He don't look identical, but he portrays that character.
Okay.
It's kind of like the Wolverine Hugh Jackman thing. Mm-hmm. He's a foot taller than Wolverine in the comics. Right. Right. But the minute he talks, you're like, oh, that's Wolverine.
Sure.
You know? So that, I like the way Sue Storm's powers looked. Mm-hmm. They didn't just do like the invisible, we'll just erase her from the screen. Mm-hmm. It was like that light projection type, like how her powers actually work, right? That was cool. We saw John Malkovich in there.
Yep.
So someone commented that he may be playing the Mole Man.
Okay.
So he did look a little different.
A little different, yeah.
And I think one of the biggest things for me was literally the biggest, Galactus.
Yeah. How
fucking refreshing is it to know my man's not going to be a cloud of smoke in space?
Absolutely.
Dude, like it started, you know, we saw the cloud, right? Yep. We're like, oh shit, here we go again.
Right.
And then you see the big shadow over New York, like, yo, this dude's pretty big. And then you see that iconic, you know, helmet, and it's like, I like that they didn't show us everything yet.
Yep.
Hey, wait till like the day before the movie drops or something to show us the face. But I the size of Galactus, it leads me to believe they're going to get that right. So those few things, and the overall look of just like you talk about that filter, that it looks retro, but it also looks futuristic.
Correct.
Almost like some Jetsons type shit. Mm-hmm. So yeah, all in all, I'm more excited for that than I was, you know, probably the whole time I've even heard about this.
Right. For me, the filter, I'm used to the thing. I like the CGI on the thing, but I'm used to that brawler boxing voice.
Yes.
And then they come out with this, 13-year-old voice. So that was kind of different.
That was a little different.
Like I said, the characters themselves, the actors themselves don't fit, but I'll reserve my judgment until I see the movie. Yeah. Because I have been convinced that an actor can portray this person, as I see them act.
Sure.
So it's not just about, because how many Spider-Mans have we gone through?
Yeah.
How many Supermans have we gone through? How many Batmans have we gone through? So there are other actors that can act. So I reserve judgment for that. Love the Galactus scene. It's definitely refreshing. I'm curious to see why Johnny is up that high, because the only time I've ever seen that in the comics is he was chasing after Frankie Ray.
Okay.
And then so he tried to follow her. You get up top, no oxygen, falls back down, things like that. It appeared to me during the opening scene when they were bringing somebody into the Baxter building.
Yep.
It appeared, we have dinner every Sunday at 7 o'clock, blah, blah. It seemed like a little mind control there because they were too placated. They were just too scripted. Okay. So I'm wondering what that scene was about. So I don't know. It seems intriguing. I'm definitely interested in seeing it.
Yeah.
I am so happy, like you are, about, it appears they're going to get Galactus right.
Right.
And it also makes me think, the rumors with the Silver Surfer.
Yep.
I'm curious to see how that looks and how that interaction is. So I think it's going to be a good movie.
Yeah. That scene you're talking about when they're walking into the Baxter building, I can't take credit for this because I read this on TikTok where I get all of the world's news. People believe that Sue Storm is pregnant in that scene, and Marvel CGI'd that out of the scene for the trailer because of the way she's walking. And I went back and watched it, and it does look like she's waddling a little bit. So they've been known to do this to throw us off in trailers, which I'm a big fan of. Don't ruin the whole shit for me.
Sure.
So
the actress isn't pregnant and they're CGing it out. She's actually the character is pregnant, and then they CG'd it out so they won't reveal that Franklin is on the way.
There you go. Which I'm all for.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the Infinity War when they showed Hulk at the end, and it really wasn't Hulk; it was Banner in the the suit.
Right.
Or like at certain times they showed less stones than Thanos really had to not ruin that for you as well. So I love them throwing me off. And it does make sense because one of the rumors about Galactus in the MCU is that Galactus is a Nexus being, so there's only one Galactus. There's no variants. And the rumor is that he is now in this Fantastic Four's universe because he's seeking Franklin Richards to get his power to travel the multiverse.
Right.
Because, maybe he wants to go to another universe where there's better Earths to devour or something. Who knows?
Or just create his own. Remember, Franklin can create universes. So if I can just stay stationary and then create my own food, why do I need to go hunting for my food?
Yeah. So if that is the case, then it would make sense that Sue's pregnant.
Right.
And Franklin can age up rather quickly, right? So he could be born in the movie and be 5 years old, a half hour later.
Right.
I'd love to see, because even though we've had the Fantastic Four on screen, like you said, 3 fantastically bad times, we've never seen Franklin Richards or any of the children, for that matter.
Right.
Dude, I actually saw, I'm going to pull this up. It was a TikTok, so hold on one second. It was a comic where Doom helped Sue. I'm sure you've probably seen this. Where is it? All right, here we go. All right, so this was a comic. I don't know when this was, but it was. Oh shit! See, this is not rehearsed. We are doing this on the go. All right, during labor, Sue was having problems due to her powers. And her and her baby were about to die. Okay. Mm-hmm. Reed was stuck on a mission, so the only other person smart enough to save her was Doom. Mm-hmm. Doom only agreed to save her because Sue promised he could name the baby, and Doom knows that would make Reed mad.
Right.
Sounds like some Doom shit. Yep. Doom named her Valeria after a woman he used to love and says she will always have a place in Latveria. Mm-hmm. Doom then leaves and says, remember, every time you look at your wife and daughter, that Doom saved them both once before you could. Mm-hmm. To Doom, every time he looks at Valeria, she is a reminder to him that he did what Reed couldn't. Also, as a kid, Valeria is nearly as smart as Doom and her dad. Because of this, she has a very special relationship with Doom, and in some comics, she is even written to be closer with Doom than her parents. Mm-hmm. This is because Doom treats her as equal and will include her at whatever scheme he is working on, while her parents treat her like a kid and leave her behind. So I didn't know all that. I'm sure you did.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, dude, we're going to have Doom here. If we have Franklin, we probably could get Valeria, too, at some point. That's a pretty cool story.
Yeah.
So I figured we'd just throw that out there. Anyways.
Now, are they treating Valeria like a kid because she's his child? Or is he treating Valeria like a child because Doom named her and he knows of their relationship? Kind of like, shitting on the kid because of something else. Whatever. I mean, they never explore Reed's ego toward Doom. Yeah. It's always the other way around.
Right. But dude, Doom is sick though.
Yeah.
Like, I'll save her, but we're going to name her this and just always remind you all the time I did something you couldn't for your wife and your daughter.
Well, I mean, could Reed not do it? He couldn't do it if he's not there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's not that he couldn't do it.
Right.
But he couldn't do it.
Yep. So he wasn't there. Well, someone who is also not there anymore. Do you know the name Rob Liefeld?
Nope, never heard of it.
He's a comic creator. Okay, so he was the one who created Deadpool, the character. Reason why he's in the news is he's severing ties with Marvel. He's extremely upset over something. So let me first tell you who he is, and then I'm going to get your take to see if he has a right to be upset about this, in your opinion. Okay, so now he's created Cable, Deadpool, Domino. Just looking at some of the big names. He's created other ones like Genesis, Feral, Prophet, Riptide, Strife, Youngblood. But the big names here are Deadpool, Domino, and Cable, right? So he's created these characters. And there's a joke about him as an artist. They say he can't draw feet. So I guess in a lot of his pictures, the feet either look weird or they're hidden. Right. It's like a well-known joke. So in Deadpool and Wolverine, you remember the scene where they're playing the Madonna song, they're walking down the street, they're getting ready to kill all the Deadpools.
Right.
And there's a shoe store behind them. And it's actually called Liefeld's Shoes, right? So they gave him like a shout out in the movie. And then there's a credit at the end of the movie. Now he's been paid for all this too because he created the character. But he is upset because he didn't get a credit and actually, A. Josh Strickland asked us about this. He's a member of the Legion of Interns, Adrian. He said, did you hear about Liefeld's parting from Marvel? So yes, A. Josh, we did. He says that Kevin Feige does not treat comic book creators well. That is my personal experience. This is on a podcast recently. Do I think he can improve his relationship with comic creators? Yes. This comes after the writer and artist believes Feige snubbed him at the premiere. So he wasn't invited to the premiere. He wasn't involved in the marketing of the movie. And I think the reason why this is a big deal for him is for the first two movies, Deadpool 1 and 2, he was involved in this. So he was asked to take part of the test screenings of those first two movies and the marketing team's work on Deadpool. Or he wasn't asked to be part of the test screenings on Deadpool and Wolverine or involved in the marketing team's work, but he was for the first two movies. He was invited to visit the set on the first two, not so much this one. So he's upset about that. Now, he got paid. He got paid even for Deadpool Wolverine. He got a credit at the end of the movie. He wanted, like, in the beginning of the movie to have this big credit. Do you think he is right in his, like, he should be upset about this because he created this comic character? Or is it like, dude, you created this character years ago, you did it in comics, that's great, this is a completely different medium, they're doing things without you, making this big, you just created it,
right? Does
that mean you're supposed to be able to be a part of this for the rest of your life? Or I guess, whose side would you be on here?
I can understand when you're creative and somebody steals your shit as their own entirely, which this is not that case.
No.
Right? But as they move this thing forward, the more they move this thing forward, the less he will and should be involved.
Right.
Because their take on this character that they own, you don't now.
Exactly.
For whatever reason, right? Is probably not even a character that you created. Right?
Right.
So how about you shut the fuck up, take your checks, and keep it moving. Right. So it's like, I don't know what it's like. They didn't take the character.
Right. It's theirs.
It's almost like, so Ford created the Ford line of cars.
Right.
Obviously, his name is on every car.
Right.
Now, what if Ford created the Ford car and then somebody, another company bought it and then named it fucking Classic?
Yep.
That would be an issue.
Right.
But the fact that Ford's name is on everything, still, the family is still getting checks. You're not seeing the family, hey, you should put my daughter's, 200 years later on this car. Right. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
Dude, just shut up.
Exactly.
Just shut up.
Like, you created this, you were doing a job. It's not like you had Deadpool and you were running your own comics and Marvel was like, yo, we want to buy that. You created it while you were working there.
Right.
For Marvel.
Right.
They copyrighted. They gave you money to create this character. They produced the comic. They put that shit out into the world.
Right.
You don't own it forever.
Right.
It's like Stephen King. He writes all these books, right?
Right.
And then people turn them into movies. And he's not a big fan of them because it's different than his story, whatever. He's Stephen King. He's a little fucking whatever. Okay. But he's not going like, give me more credit for it. It's like, whatever, dude. I wrote the book. You made the movie.
Right.
George
Lucas? Well, that's the understanding.
Yeah.
I create this character that you can monetize. Well, actually, we both can monetize.
Right.
Because the ultimate goal is monetize.
Correct.
Not credit. Right. Now, if you build something in your contract, which you should have thought about earlier, if you want to be on the stage every time your character shows up, then you probably should have negotiated that. But I think the negotiation stopped at, I'm going to write you a check.
Correct.
And checks means shut the fuck up.
Absolutely. Yeah, I honestly think, and I respect artists, creativity. I know that, we wouldn't have this if it wasn't for them in the beginning.
Absolutely.
But that doesn't mean that you just get to ride this train forever. Like, this is a whole different thing. They took what you created and did more with it.
Right. It's not like, let's see, you stole the cotton gin or some shit, right?
Right.
It's not like that. I mean, but of course, because you own the people, they can't complain about it.
Correct.
But, that's a whole different thing.
Yeah, it's, and they're also, like you said, this is probably not the character that you created. It's like the Batman thing. It was, Bob. There was some issues with that too. I don't know all the details right now, but Bob Kane and how for a while they didn't get credit, then they did. But the big deal was like, dude, what y'all created in 1939 is not what's on screen right now.
Dude, did you see Superman when they first created?
Oh yeah,
the S. You talking about the fucked up S today?
Yeah. Oh shit.
I mean, but then they were comparing him to what they thought about.
Correct.
Faster than a speeding bullet.
Yep.
Leap tall building. He couldn't even fly.
He couldn't fly.
He could just jump over buildings and stuff, and lift a car. Correct. Now he's moving planets, warping through come on, dude. Completely different character.
No, I think, dude, take your money, shut the fuck up.
Right.
Also, if you're such this great creator, hey, create somebody else. Create them for yourself.
I don't necessarily believe in that because sometimes you just got one shot.
Okay.
You just got to be savvy enough to kind of like dig yourself in there. It's like this. If I created something and it became popular, right?
Yep.
You should be savvy enough to be like, especially today, because when you have all these resources, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, you didn't have the resources to know how to negotiate a contract.
Right.
Now you have different resources. Entrench yourself in there. So guess what? Pay me for my vanity. In other words, you're not going to put me on stage every time my character shows up. So, give me a little extra scratch.
Yeah.
And I will, on my own, shut the fuck up.
Absolutely.
So this is vanity, dude. This is all this is.
Yep. It's funny, you see a lot with certain comic creators. Like ego,
especially now since comic books is just exploding.
Yep.
Right.
Absolutely. So speaking of comic books exploding, we talked about Superman. Nicholas Hoult is playing Lex Luthor in this. He played Beast in the First Class, Xmen, that whole series, who I'm not a big fan of his Beast. And it's really not even, I don't think it's his portrayal, but it's just more the way the character was written. Didn't feel like Beast to me. But reason why he's in the news, he made a statement at a Megacon in Orlando. We hear this statement a lot, this question, was Magneto right? Right? Which I think we both said he was. Nicholas Hoult, someone asked him about if Lex Luthor is right about Superman, and Nicholas said yes. So he said that he feels he's right about Superman. If someone in this aspect here, or in this context, if someone had ultimate power and the ability to do anything, then what happens when what he does doesn't align with everyone's belief of what is right? Fair statement. So interesting take on Lex Luthor. You're you probably know more about Lex than I do. Have you ever looked at Lex Luthor as almost like in the same light of Magneto? Like he's not really the villain. What he's saying is right. Just his ways are fucked up, or no?
Yeah, absolutely. I've always looked at Lex like that. Okay. Lex has been like, if you think about it, Lex is like a Doom, right?
Yeah.
Doom's objective is to take care of his people. Latveria being primary, and then Earth humans, secondary. Well, actually, Latveria secondary and Earth humans, third, because the first thing he's going to take care of is Doom.
Correct. And then maybe Sue Storm.
Yes, and then maybe Sue Storm. And he's going to fight Namor 4.
Yes.
But he's always, Luthor has always seen Superman as like this god being that could, if he decides to, he can destroy the entire planet, right? Yep. And I think Batman, to a degree, also does that. The difference is Batman has the inside track.
Right.
And he's actually come up with contingencies to deal with Superman if such a thing ever happens, right? Yeah. Luthor is more overt. He wants the world. Luthor's problem is that he tries to get the world to see his perspective, which is online with the KKK,
right?
Any super religious group, Nazi, shit like that.
Right.
It's like, I'm going to force you to see my perspective, right? I think that's his problem. Batman is I am just going to solve the problem, right? But Lex Luthor, I think his intent was always that we have this threat, a singular threat that could annihilate what we understand is our life, right? And he's trying to convince everybody. So I don't think his perspective on it is wrong, just the way that he goes about it,
right?
Because he's trying to involve everybody else in it, but then he gets to the point where it becomes self-serving. He's more maniacal, absolutely, and then he becomes the villain.
Yep. But it almost reminds me of like those AI scenarios where we put this AI in charge and they're looking out for humans, and they realize that we're probably the most self-destructive damn life force on this planet.
Right.
So you know what? Let's just wipe them out and make more. It's almost like, what if Superman felt like,
right.
you know what? Dude, Earth's a waste. These people are disgusting.
Right.
And he just wants to wipe Earth. So it's got some validity to this,
right.
which hearing this makes me, I guess, more intrigued and more excited for that Superman movie if they're going to go down that path.
Right.
Which I love complex villains where you don't know, is it good, is it bad?
I got a question for you right quick. So you Superman, you decide that Earthlings are disgusting, right? What's the simplest way you think it is for Superman to destroy all life on Earth?
Shit.
Not the Earth itself.
Right. I don't know.
So if you think about the drowning scenario, right? This is all, Black Panther, just fucking drowning, right?
Okay, so
right?
Great Flood.
No. Asteroid, dude.
Okay.
Just as I'm spitting all over myself. Just move an asteroid.
Yeah. Right into Earth.
Just right into Earth.
Bam.
Everything's done.
Okay. It wouldn't take long, dude.
No.
Or he could just get the fuck out of here, too. He could do that, right? Like, why are you coming here trying to go back? Oh, your planet's messed up, so you want to come here and correct ours.
I'm sure as Superman, you have access to other planets.
Exactly.
Why don't you just go there where they look nicer or whatever. Like, they smell better or some shit.
How come they never thought about even this AI? Like, y'all just want to ruin it. Why don't you just go to the moon or something and live there? Leave us the fuck alone. Let us destroy ourselves.
I don't know. There's always an objective. It's like, we're going to Musk with, we're going to go and terraform Mars and blah, 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 blah. That's going to take fucking hundreds of years.
Right.
How about if you can terraform Mars, you can terraform Earth.
Yes.
Once you fix the shit here,
seriously,
instead of trying to move a bazillion people someplace else, and then because what's going to happen is this generation and the next generation is not going to make that move.
Right. Maybe they stop playing around with the weather and doing cloud seeding and all that shit.
That would be no fun, dude.
Right? Yeah. That's other stuff. That's the whole.
Hey, you got to free up that real estate.
That's right. Yo, buying the Gaza Strip now.
Hey,
dude. Yeah.
Exactly. You wipe out a few 100,000 people, dude.
Right.
Hey, let's regurgitate that fresh real estate.
And like the Donald says, he's gonna put the world's people there, Adrian. Yes.
The Donald is doing God's work.
The Donald. Captain America: Brave New World. This movie drops next week, dude. Like 4 days.
Really?
Yes.
Is that time already?
It is.
Damn.
Man. So we'll be reviewing that next week.
Right.
The director, he confirmed that the introduction of adamantium in this movie. So we know that we have the big celestial from the Eternals.
Right.
Like the only good part of that whole movie, is like the big guy coming out of Earth. They stop him, and now his hand's been sticking out into the atmosphere.
Adamantium or vibranium?
Adamantium.
Okay.
So they're calling it Tiamat. I forget the name of the celestial, but Tiamat Island. They're calling it,
and you will hear that name again later today.
Oh shit! Look at that, a little teaser. But Tiamat or Tiamut, I say things all fucked up. Millionaire's back there behind you, Adrian. Tiamat. But anyways, this is going to be the source. I don't know if he's completely made out of adamantium, but this is how they're going to introduce adamantium into the MCU. And the director kind of subtly confirmed that this will lead to Project X and Wolverine in the MCU. So he was talking about adamantium versus vibranium, which that'd be probably a good segment one day to break down the differences.
Right.
He says adamantium is much more durable. Adamantium is not like vibranium, which can absorb kinetic energy.
Correct.
Adamantium, as we know, will eventually be part of Project X. It will eventually be part of the story of Wolverine. So adamantium now becomes this resource that could change the world in a way that's very different than vibranium, because vibranium is something that is really under the purview of the Wakandans. This is why it becomes an amazing geopolitical football in our film. So think about this island is there, this adamantium.
Right.
No one really owns it, right?
Right.
Like vibranium's different. It dropped on Wakanda. They've had this stuff for years. They've kind of claimed that.
Well, until the lighter skinned person. Yeah. Now all of a sudden it's under their fucking island too.
Correct.
So whatever, dude.
But this adamantium is out in the ocean somewhere.
Sure.
So all of these countries are going to try to, claim this shit. But I do like the fact that now this could all change, but he's confirming that this will lead to Project X and Wolverine in the MCU, which means we'll get a different Wolverine.
Right.
It won't be that, hey, Hugh Jackman just shows up, plop in this universe. Because I think that is something that they've done a decent job of Wolverine's origin, Weapon X and stuff in the past, but they changed so much from the comics that I think it's time to just let's just keep it a little more truer to comics and see it done the right way.
Anthony Starr.
Yeah. You're big on that, dude.
Dude, as soon as I saw him in that show, I was like, Wolverine.
He would kill it. He would. Liv Tyler is returning as Betty Ross in this movie as well. Okay. So Betty Ross is, big, important character as it pertains to Hulk and Bruce Banner.
Yep.
Right. How did you feel about her portrayal of Betty Ross in that one Incredible Hulk movie?
Because I'd never seen a Betty Ross in it before.
Yeah.
It's non-consequential.
Okay.
Dude.
What about compared to comics?
She did all right. She did all right.
She did all right. Yeah. I like seeing her back. I really hope that I kind of throw this under that same area as the recasting T'Challa. Just throw Michael B. Jordan there. Don't even explain. I really don't care. Or recast him and just don't explain it. I don't give a shit.
Right.
Bring the angry Hulk back and don't explain it. I don't give a fuck. Who cares? Just have him show up like he was in the Avengers movie, angry as shit. Bruce still trying to manage this. Because without that, I don't know that the Betty Ross character. Now, I know, Thunderbolt Ross is her dad, so it's probably, he's probably going to play a big part in that. But
she has no purpose outside of the Hulk.
Yeah. And if the Hulk is smart Hulk, what the fuck's she doing?
Right.
But I'm glad to hear that she's back.
Sure. I like the fact that Liv Tyler's coming back for continuity.
Yeah.
Consistency and continuity.
Right. Last piece, Denzel. So we spoke about this rumor a few weeks ago that Denzel is going to be in Black Panther 3. Mm-hmm. We have no idea who he's playing. I don't think he's playing T'Challa. I think he's a little above the age.
Yeah.
I mean, you can CGI.
That'd be a bit
shit.
much.
Yeah, you can CGI some shit, but
maybe one of those former Black Panthers.
Okay.
Like in when T'Challa went back into the spirit world.
Yep.
Maybe one of the ancestors or something.
Yeah, but being that he's Denzel, I gotta imagine he's not gonna have a small role.
Right.
He's going to play a big part in this movie. There was, I don't know who this guy is, but he's on some podcast. He was, seems to have some inside information, Adrian. There's one thing we don't have yet. We don't have inside information yet. We got interns. We had a show. We had 2 shows now. No inside information. We're just getting coffee,
You know what we got?
What's that?
TikTok.
Yes. yes. And we have the internets too. So I found this on the internets, and this guy from another podcast that won't be named says it's totally possible that he could be playing an Xmen character. And then he asked the listeners to do the leap. He says, definitely thinks Denzel could be the villain of the X-Men. So then that leads to people thinking, oh, he could play Magneto. Now, I'm going to change stance on this.
Come on, dog.
Yeah. Because you remember when
let's not do that.
Let's not do it. You remember when this rumor first came out a few months ago, I was kind of like, yo, he could pull it off. But the more I think about it, Magneto's whole character is based on the fact that he was in the Holocaust.
Right.
He's a Jewish Holocaust survivor. So we've seen a lot of race swapping. We're going to talk about that with, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spiderman.
Right.
They just literally swapped everyone but Peter Parker. Right. I'm surprised Aunt May's not West Indian or something.
Right.
But the fact that I hope this is not true. I love Denzel as an actor. I do think as an actor he could kill it as Magneto.
Sure.
But why change that much about his origin? Because that's so instrumental to who he is as a character. Yeah. Why he's doing what he's doing.
Absolutely.
Why he feels the way he does about mutants and humans. Mm-hmm. And I don't think you get that same, and no, I'm not stupid. I understand civil rights movement and all that stuff, but I don't know how you replicate that.
No. Well, you don't. You have to change the whole dynamic. And then the fucked up thing about it is, the other fucked up thing about it is that this would be like a drop in a pond, right?
Yeah.
It would probably be a one-time event, just like Michael B. Jordan playing the Human Torch.
Right.
And then after that, it goes away.
Correct.
So then what is the point of doing that race swap?
Yeah. Yeah, no, so not a fan of that. But last comic
He could play Bishop.
There you go. You know who wants to play Bishop is Method Man. And I think he would kill it.
I could see that.
Yeah.
And because he got jacked, dude. You see him in Power as the attorney.
Yeah. I've seen clips.
He got jacked toward the end. Yeah.
I see him on social media, and he's like, dude, he's in his 50s, and he's in better shape now than he ever has been.
Right.
And he has that look, like the whole beard and all that, and I don't know what his hair's at now, but he could always just throw a wig on with some dreads or something.
What happened with Redman, though? Is he, like, sick in real life or something?
No, I just
he
think
just, like, faded away.
He just didn't age as well as,
Method Man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. But he's dropped the album recently. I heard it was pretty good, but I'm not about, I can't jump to every 50-year-old rapper's album. I like Snoop's new album, but that's like Snoop and Dre. And dude, I love Redman, but it's hard, dude. It's like, man, y'all are like 58 years old. Like, what are you rapping about now?
Right.
My back
Didn't Cool J come out with something?
Yeah, Cool J dropped one. Yeah. Well, I heard that was decent too.
Yeah.
But anyway, well, we're going to wrap. That's the other stuff. We're going to wrap up comic news and rumors, Adrian, with some thumbs up, thumbs down. So, are you ready?
Yeah.
You sure? All right.
Oh,
Here we go. The Fantastic Four First Steps first trailer gets over 202 million views in its first 24 hours, being released after 48. I just screwed that all up. In its first 24 hours after being released, about 48 million shy of Superman's 250 million views in the same time. But I give that a thumbs up.
Definitely. That's amazing, dude.
Yeah, and that was a mouthful. No Diddy. Rob Liefeld leaves Marvel and expresses extreme butthurt over wanting a bigger Deadpool and Wolverine credit. I give this a thumbs down, dude.
I give zero shits about this guy. Whatever.
Like, bro, shut what we call the fuck up. Lex Luthor actor Nicholas Hoult says Lex is right about Superman to a fan at Megacon in Orlando. Basically, if you have this ultimate power, what if it doesn't align with everyone's belief? What's going to happen then? I give that a thumbs up, dude.
Thumbs up.
Captain America Brave New World director confirms the introduction of Adamantium will lead to Project X and Wolverine in the MCU. Thumbs up.
I feel some kind of way about it, but in the thumbs up.
Okay.
Fuck it. I'm not going to overcomplicate it.
Liv Tyler will return as Betty Ross in Captain America Brave New World. A thumbs up.
Sure. Thumbs up.
Denzel Washington rumored to be playing an X-Men villain in Black Panther 3. It could be Magneto, some say, and some of us here say thumbs down.
Yeah, if that is his intro, then thumbs down.
Yeah, like don't waste him on that. Right. Give him something better to do.
Right.
All right. Well, that's thumbs up, thumbs down. We're gonna switch up the order this week, Adrian. We're gonna hop into verses. Okay.
Okay.
So someone requested this a few weeks ago. On We Respond, they said Thing versus Colossus.
Yep.
Okay. So I did some research here, Adrian, with my buddy ChatGPT. And now, first of all, before we even get into this, who would you think would win this?
I tip it to Colossus.
Okay.
Now, Thing was I talked about his voice earlier. He's like a bruiser.
Yeah.
You know what I mean,
He can scrap.
he can scrap.
Yeah.
Boxing, things like that. Real world. So first of all, Thing is older and more experienced as a combatant than Colossus, right?
Yep.
However, Colossus he's had the training. He's also had different types of exposure,
Right.
To fighting than the Thing. Also, even though they put both of them at the same strength level, they aren't. Thing is traditionally 75 tons, Colossus 100 plus.
Okay.
Right?
Colossus is stronger.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. But stronger doesn't necessarily mean a better fight.
No.
I think this would be a brutal fight because I think Thing's tenacity would make up for Colossus' strength. I don't think Colossus has the capability to go, his mindset to just do anything to get it done.
Right.
Even though he's been through a bunch. This dude's been fighting the, fucking aliens and
right.
So has been.
Sure.
Street corner fight, I would tip it to Colossus, but it would be a long fight. People talk about, Colossus's adamantium skin versus rock. Well, it's not really
Is
rock.
it adamantium or steel?
Well, adamantium is metal, right? I want to say it's adamantium.
Okay.
Or let's say a metal-like surface, right? As opposed to, but they try to downplay things skin to be just rock. You hit it, it's going to chip. Well, it's not like that.
No.
Right? So all things being equal, dude, I mean, actually I changed my mind. I think it'll be Ben.
All right.
I think it'll be the Thing.
Well, let's go through. Before you give your final answer, it's like what's that show? You Want to Be a Millionaire? Is that your final answer? It's not your final answer. Yeah. So, couple things. So, Thing's origin, he's a test pilot, college buddy of Reed. They're on, depending on what origin you read, they're on some space mission, some cosmic rays, basically give them all powers. Mm-hmm. He's transformed to this rock-like creature, right?
Right.
He's superhuman strength, durability, endurance. His rocky hide can withstand heavy impact. So your point, it's not like, it's not like some sand at the beach. Right. This shit it's pretty durable. Mm-hmm. He can withstand extreme temperatures and most physical attacks. His weaknesses, so despite his power, he's not invincible. Enough force could crack his rock, pretty much, right? And he's weighed down by his own body mass.
Right.
His heavy-ass dude.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're both about the same weight, actually.
Okay. Colossus, Russian farm boy. He's a mutant, so he discovered his mutant. He can turn his body into an organic steel, they're calling it. Mm-hmm. Joined the Xmen to protect mutants' humanity. So, yeah, he's a stand-up guy, right? His powers are he can shift to a near invulnerable steel form, boosting his strength and durability to superhuman levels. So even without the steel, he's pretty damn strong. Like, without transforming, he's still probably above human strength, right? No, he's not.
No. He's a strong farm boy.
Got it. But no power until okay. Weaknesses. When he's metal, he loses some fine motor skills and nimbleness because he's fucking the Tin Man over here, right? And reverting to his human form leaves him more vulnerable. So bullet point breakdown, raw strength. It says they're both incredibly strong. The Thing has years of slugfest experience with powerhouses. Mm-hmm. Colossal steel form can match or exceed that. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty much what you said. So Colossus is stronger,
right?
But Thing has been out there, dude. He's been scrapping. The rock hide for Thing is super tough. Colossus in steel form is similarly durable, impervious to most physical damage. So it'd be a pretty even fight, dude. Mm-hmm. Fighting style, Ben's a brawler at heart. He's comfortable going toe-to-toe in a street fight, so maybe the street corner would probably benefit him. Colossus is more disciplined, often pulling his punches, so he's got some Boy Scout shit in him. Mm-hmm. That's the other thing, too. I don't think Thing don't have that, right? No. Like, Thing don't give a fuck.
No. He will get the job done.
Yeah, yep. Very even matchup. Colossus steel forms might edge out slightly in raw power, but Thing's grit and fighting experience can keep it neck and neck. So... ChatGPT, they're like Switzerland, dude. They're not going to really take a stance. But after reading this, I'm going to go with Thing.
Yeah. I mean, you hear things like, the Thing is punched out the Hulk.
Yeah.
A lot of people look at Colossus as just the strength, but that doesn't necessarily win a war, So I'm going to go with the Thing, dude.
Yeah, there it is, the Thing. So, Thing across the board. So you guys let us know if you disagree, if you don't like what we say, if you cry about it like Rob Liefeld or whatever,
But like I said, it would be a long.
Oh yeah, it'd be fun to watch.
Oh yeah, right.
And like a little animated. I got to bring you that damn Blu-ray, the Hulk Wolverine. Yeah. It's phenomenal, and I'm like, I wish they would just do more shit like that. Little one-offs where it's mostly.
Wait a minute, is this the one where the Wolverine finds Bruce in the woods as a human?
Yep.
And then he kind of attacks him. He sniffs him.
Yep.
I saw that actually on YouTube.
Did.
So I
did?
Yeah,
right.
It's on YouTube.
Dude, it's awesome.
Yeah.
The fight part. The rest of the story is pretty cool too with Deadpool, Sabretooth, the whole deal. But that fight is awesome. All right, well, that is Versus. Moving on to Did They Cook, Adrian?
Let this man cook.
Yes. So I got 5 casting choices here from the past. You're going to notice a theme here, dude. There's a Lex Luthor theme to this, okay? The way this works, if you're new here, I'm going to throw these out. Adrian's going to let me know, in his opinion, if these actors cooked in these roles, okay? So if you don't know what cook means, ask your kids or go on TikTok or fucking join us all in 2025, shit. Damn, you're out of coffee. Guys, can we get one more?
Out of coffee.
All right, they'll have it over in a second.
Sure.
All right, you ready?
Let's do it.
Number 1, Nicholas Hoult as Hank McCoy, Beast.
No.
Kelsey Grammer as Beast.
Yes.
Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. Kevin Spacey as Lex Luthor. This is Superman Returns.
No.
And then Michael Rosenbaum as Lex Luthor.
No.
So that's a Smallville show.
No. Actually, yes.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I was thinking he's probably the only one that has done Luthor. Because I was thinking when you brought up Luthor, I'm like, has anybody done Luthor?
Right.
But first of all, I love that show.
Yeah, Smallville was good.
I liked the Clark Kent. Mm-hmm. I thought he should have went on to the main screen.
Yeah.
Rosenbaum.
Mm-hmm.
I liked him as Lex, but then they had some weird shit toward the end, like the last season.
Yeah.
They kind of wrote him off, but then they had this had him in a face mask, so they didn't actually show his face. It was just weird, dude.
Yeah.
And then the chick that actually started Watchtower actually joined some cult or whatever. I think she's in prison now.
Okay.
The blonde hot one.
Yeah.
So
in real life?
In real life.
Oh, damn.
In real life. She hooked up with some dude and she was grooming people for the guy who was doing the cult. So it was like kidnapping, kind of human trafficking kind of shit. Yeah, it's weird, dude.
Shit.
But anyway, love the show.
Yeah. That's the other stuff. Yeah, we'll get into that
other
later.
stuff.
All right. Well, that's Did They Cook? You guys let us know if you agree or not. I'm going to make a prediction here. I think Nicholas Hoult will cook as Lex Luthor.
Remains to be seen.
Yes. You're not sold yet.
No.
I think he will, dude. I think my issue with his Beast is not him as the actor.
No.
The way that character was written.
Mm-hmm.
Beast is like a poet. He's like a prophet. He's like a... guys smoking a pipe in a library type shit. This is what they do in a lot of these movies. They hit the young kid, and they want to make him funny. They want to make him Peter Parker.
Right.
And they made him a dork. They made him socially awkward. Now, I'm sure maybe Hank McCoy was different as a child, but to me, that wasn't Beast.
Right.
And I like the CGI Beast over that makeup, weird fucking grown person jumping. It was just odd.
Right. It's like Garfield being Spider-Man.
Damn. I'm not there with you, Adrian. No, I'm not. All right, moving on. So before we get to We Respond, I had a comment here that's going to lead us to this next segment. So let's switch it up on y'all. Broman Williams, he chimed in. He said, "What's up, Mike and Adrian? First of all, shout out to the Bald Beard Gang. Yes, he's one of us, dude. Proud member. Anyway, I know I said I wasn't going to watch Friendly Neighborhood Spiderman, but I went ahead and cracked. And like I said, it is some absolute woke bullshit." Damn. He says, "Bruh, everyone is black." Now, if you don't know, Broman's, based on his picture, he's black. So he says, "Everyone is black or foreign. Dr. Connors is a black lady now in the show. Right. Honestly, who is this for? Who asked for this garbage ass shit? This should be called Spider-Man from the Hood." Oh shit!
Damn, dude, you go through Jersey before coming in the studio?
I think so, dude. Oh no, Broman's got me on edge over here, dude. I don't. Now I'll tell you this: what you're talking about, Broman, the racial stuff. We're gonna get into that on other stuff,
right?
But we're gonna talk about this show here. You've seen 5 episodes now that we've been blessed with. So before I say anything, what's your just feedback on it overall?
I like the premise. I initially thought that it was like in a different universe,
yes,
or a different variant of. But then they start making the references to the Accord, and different things that happen on 616. So it's firmly in our universe.
I don't think it is though.
No,
because think about in 616. We had the Tom Holland Spider-Man. I think this is another universe where a lot of the same shit happened.
Okay.
But the Spider-Man is different. That's my take on it.
Okay. Could be. Either way, it's close enough.
Yeah.
The other reason I thought it was like in a universe is because, it opens with Doctor Strange and something try to come in from a different universe. He has to pull it back.
Yep.
Things like that, which I thought was kind of nonsense. But it is what it is. I like the graphics.
Yeah.
I like it's not a reboot, but I like how he starts.
Right.
Obviously, very mechanical suit.
Yep.
Something homemade. So that was pretty cool.
I like his homemade suit in this.
Yeah. The spider dropping out from another universe kind of like takes me to the Miles Morales thing.
Yep.
So that's different. And then the whole race swapping of like literally everybody. I mean, everybody, dude.
Yeah.
And then the friend, the girl, I don't know where she came from. I've never seen her before, so they introduced a new person.
Right.
Probably because MJ is black now, I guess. And then Osborn. I mean, the father has always been a help of Spider-Man, and then it gets to the point where he's obviously going to die,
right? And
that's where Harry's pissed off because he thinks that Spider-Man is responsible.
Yes.
Even though I don't know how they're going to do this now, because now Harry also knows that Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
Yep.
So that's going to be a different take on this whole thing. So all in all, it's entertaining. It's engaging. The white suit, I wasn't feeling that because I'm thinking, as much as he fights, he's going to fuck that up.
Right.
So, it's cool if you get over the other stuff, but it's just like, who asked for?
Right.
The only white person in the thing, it's like the complete opposite.
Spider-Man, yeah.
It's like the complete opposite, dude.
Right.
You go from, it's like if you take Friends.
Yes.
And make a black version of it, but then you stick a white person in there like every 17 seasons.
Right.
Come on, dude.
Yeah. No, it's just a little odd. What I'll say though, I agree with Roman a little bit in the fact that, dude, they just race swapped everyone who's asking for that. But what I will say is it feels like Spider-Man.
Yes.
They hit the tone. They hit all the same beats. I think they did a good job of doing those things and not making them, they don't impact the story.
Right.
Nobody's new race changes anything from a story standpoint. I just think they're going a little above and beyond with this include. Talk about some DEI hires. Holy shit.
Right.
The whole show's DEI.
Exactly.
And I guess you've said this before, it's just kind of the world we live in now, right? Like what'd you say? You expect pigs to be able to marry pigs nowadays. So the fact that they're race swapping characters and gender swapping, it's not that crazy.
Right.
So it's kind of like you can either complain about it every day like half of the people on TikTok do, or you can just accept that this is where we live, and if it's a good story, then I'm down with it.
Then I hear somebody, I don't know the source, but didn't I hear about like in some school where the school let the kids go out in the hallway and express themselves as fucking animals?
Oh, yeah.
Walk around on four legs or whatever?
Yeah, ask my son about it. It was his school. It literally was, if you identified as a cat, you were allowed to go take a catwalk down the hallway and purr and shit. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that's where we are.
Exactly.
So this is kind of expected, I guess.
But not anymore.
But it's...
The Donald said there's only 2 genders. So being a cat's not a gender anymore, Adrian. So we're not putting litter boxes in the studio.
Wow.
Yeah, we're not doing it. But I like I guess Norman Osborn's a good example. They race swapped him, but he feels like Norman Osborn.
Sure.
They did a good, the voice actor, it sounds almost like William Dafoe from the Peter Parker, or from the Tobey Maguire movies, a little bit, and just at least in his portrayal.
Well, this Norman is young, so it would be kind of hard to have that William Dafoe voice. That's a matured voice,
right? But just his cadence, the way he speaks, it feels Norman Osborn. And I gotta imagine he's going to turn on Peter at some point, right? Like he's going to be the Goblin. I don't know if you picked up on this, but the scene where Peter's walking home and Norman's at his apartment is almost identical to the scene in Civil War when Tony is at his apartment. And I saw a side-by-side comparison, and it's like the same shot. It's pretty cool.
Sure.
And remember, he had the DVD player, and he mentions it to May in the movie when he walks in. He's like, whose car is that? So all that was very similar.
Right.
So Norman is playing that Tony Stark mentor role in here.
Well, something that gets Peter to the improved suits and access to the tech.
Right.
Because a lot of people forget or don't even know how much of a brainiac Peter actually is.
Right. Absolutely. And I think of all the homemade suits that we've seen, that's probably one of my favorites. Yeah. That looked great.
It's like a retro kind of like, it's almost like what they're doing with the Fantastic Four. It's like a retro kind of a suit.
And you talk about the art, dude, you notice there's only a few colors they use.
Correct.
It's like the early comics.
Right.
But they use shades of them so it doesn't look that it doesn't look that basic. I think it's phenomenal. I think it's subtle, but it's really creative.
It's like that newsprint paper art. So I like it.
It looks like you're diving into a comic book.
Yes.
So all in all, I think that was cool. There's a lot, you mentioned these like Easter eggs, the Sokovia Accords. Mm-hmm. They talk about the battle at the airport in the Civil War. I like that those are there, but it's a whole different take. So this is probably just one more variant in the multiverse.
Sure.
Now, could we see this Peter Parker cross paths with the Spider-Verse at some point because of the...
Right?
I
mean, it definitely opens it up to those kind of events.
Right.
So... And whatever happened to the spider? Didn't the spider crawl into somebody else's backpack?
It did, yep.
So maybe we have another Spider-Man up in his joint.
Yeah, because he didn't kill the spider.
No.
Which normally happens, right?
Right. No, well, in previous, the spider bit Peter and died.
Right.
So that didn't happen.
Yep.
So,
and Miles smacked this shit as soon as it bit him, and it was dead on the ground. Yeah. We see Doc Ock in this before he's Doc Ock. Like, he doesn't have the arms yet.
Right. He's making his money as a basically a weapon supplier.
Yeah,
weapons that he creates.
I like his look, his design. Thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Tombstone. Are you familiar with Tombstone from the comics? Are you Tombstone? No? Okay. So Tombstone, Spider-Man villain. This is a very different take on Tombstone. He started out in Harlem and he was bullied by his neighborhood because he was the only black albino. Mm. Obviously, this kid's not albino. Right. But he was taller, stronger than everybody else. And he, at a young age, he started his kind of life into crime, extorting people for money for protection and shit. So he was not like this football star, as far as I know, like he is in this. This is one where, Tombstone is probably not one of Spider-Man's top villains. Right. So to change some shit's probably not, the end of the world. I like what they did with this, though. Mm-hmm. Like, it makes you feel for him.
Right.
Football star, and his brother gets caught up with the wrong crowd, which does happen, right?
Right.
And the wrong crowd don't give a fuck about your aspiring dreams and all this shit. Correct. They look at you as a tool, right? You're part of us now. And he offers kind of himself in lieu for his brother, and now he's caught up. But we see him just almost accepting it at the end, and when they name him, like, your Tombstone. You don't know a lot about Tombstone, but how did you feel about this arc, this story with this character?
The arc was cool, but I'm also going to bring this point up later too. It's like in comics they just subdue black people. It's like this dude, he is so distraught about having to have made this decision,
right? Until
you get a cool name.
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
It's like, wait a minute. If I would have gave you a cool name in the beginning, you wouldn't have resisted.
Right. Yeah.
It's just
it was a little cheesy. Yeah. It was a little lazy.
I like Tombstone. I like that.
Right. Now I'm here. Let's go kill some people. Yeah.
Whatever.
But talk about the art, dude. I love what's the guy, Big Don or whatever. Speaking of bald guys with the beard, bro, man.
Right.
That looks cool as shit.
He's about to get his ass beat.
He really is. He is pissing me off, though. I got to imagine at some point Tombstone's going to, like, snap back and whip that guy's ass. I fucking hope so.
I don't know. He probably become like his father figure or some shit like that or whatever.
Now, Tombstone does get powers in the comic. I forget exactly how, but I believe, like everyone else, like superhuman strength, shit like that.
Sure.
But all in all, dude, I'm excited for the rest of this. I think we are on. So we got 5 episodes released so far. We got 3 more dropping on the 12th. So that's later this week, and then on the 19th, the last 2 episodes will drop. So there's 10 in total. So we're halfway through.
Right.
Halfway through, dude. I'm liking it. So, bro, man, sorry we convinced you to watch it and you didn't like it. But, if you can get past all the wokeness and race swapping and all the DEI influence on this. But what I'll say is it feels Spider-Man. I think they did a good job. I think they changed a lot of unnecessary shit, but it didn't ruin the story for me.
I think that, like you said, it's Spider-Man-ish enough to where once you do get past the race swapping, you don't even notice it anymore.
Right.
And it feels like a Spider-Man story. Yeah. Now, I will say, it didn't peak and valley my emotions like Creature Commando. There was some crazy shit in there, and then it went like mid.
Right.
This one is more even tone throughout.
I agree. It's very consistent. Yeah, I don't think there's been a bad episode yet.
Right.
Every time the episode finished, I'm like, oh, can't wait to watch the next one.
Right.
Sometimes with Creature Commandos, I'm like, I need a break.
Right.
I need a couple hours,
Yep.
So yeah, let us know if you have watched it, what you think, and just a little. I guess one of the things I'm gonna throw this out there now, Adrian. I don't want you to answer it now. We're gonna talk about it on other stuff, but I saw a clip of Anthony Mackie talking about. I think it was Anthony Mackie talking about Superman, because it was kind of along the lines of like this whole race swapping stuff. Because the argument from the people that are doing this is like, well, you know, if you're a kid. You're a black kid watching a superhero show with all white dudes, it's hard for you to want to be that character because they're white.
Right.
And Anthony Mackie came out and he was like, I never looked at Superman as like, I want him to be black. I just looked at him as, I want to be Superman.
I agree.
You agree with that?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that more on other stuff, but because I have my own theories.
Sure.
We'll get into that later. So anyways, Your Friendly Neighborhood. So far, through 5 episodes, I give this thing a solid 7.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Moving on to We Respond. So you're going to notice a trend here. We are going to respond to our Legion of Interns before everybody else because, they take precedence. So speaking of Legion of Interns, Relly BT Dub says, let's fucking go. Ready for more content? Yes, you are. Amigo Mio. He says, what's good, Mike and Adrian? He's a member. Happy to be a member. Had to get caught up with the podcast. Work and spring semester start. Yeah, fucking work, dude.
Right.
It's a way with everything.
Just do like the bus drive. Just listen to your shit at work.
There you go. He says, I saw the membership and bought that shit as fast as hell. There you go. I had a question. What was your opinion on Jey Uso winning the Royal Rumble over Cena? Well, first of all, a friend of mine fucking spoiled it for me. So thank you for that, by the way. So my opinion is don't fucking spoil shit for your friends.
Right.
But my opinion on over Cena, I like it. So I like this part, Adrian, because you don't watch wrestling. So I get to explain it to you like someone who knows nothing.
Right.
So you know who John Cena is. He's a Peacemaker, right?
Yep.
This is his last year as a professional wrestler. He's going to retire at the end of the year. He's older. He's,
Sure.
Believe it or not, when you're 50, it's harder to do professional wrestling than when you're 25. So he's retiring. This is his last year. And right now, Ric Flair, Ric Flair, holds the record for most championship wins recognized by WWE, 16 championships. Wow. Well, John Cena tied it years ago.
Okay.
A lot of fans, including myself, would like to see John Cena break that record. It'd be cool. He was in the Royal Rumble. We talked about this last week. The winner gets a shot at the belt or whatever. The last 2 were John Cena and Jey Uso. A lot of people thought Cena was going to win. Jey Uso wins. Jey Uso is probably... So I'm going to use an inside term with you here, Adrian. Probably more over than anyone else on the roster right now. Over means you're popular with the fans and they react to you the way they're supposed to. So if you're a good guy and you're over, they're cheering for you.
Right.
They love when you talk. They love when you wrestle. If you're a bad guy and you're over, they're booing you because that's your job. Jey Uso comes out, dude, the whole arena becomes unglued. Like he has him in the palm of his hand. So he's probably the most over. So it makes sense that he won. Now he's the guy who's a tag team guy for a long time. He was with Roman Reigns, this whole bloodline thing. So it's kind of his first venture as a singles wrestler. So there was a pocket of idiots on the internets complaining about it. Like, I can't believe they gave it. But if you ever gone to a show and seen them, if you ever watch a live show, you watch the crowd and you understand why they did this.
Got it.
So I'm a big fan of it, amigo mio. Sons of Sekmat. He's a member too, Adrian, one of the first ones that signed up. So he says, hey, Fantastic Four related question. Did either of you see the film Mallrats? You ever seen Mallrats? I've not seen that.
It doesn't sound familiar, but it sounds familiar.
Okay. Guy Jason Lee is in it. He plays someone named Brody. He says Brody asked Stan Lee about Mr. Fantastic and the Thing in the movie. So I guess Stan Lee's also in the movie. So
no, I didn't.
I never seen it. He sent us a little clip, so I'll check it out, Sons of Sekmat. But no, we did not see that. And thank you for joining the League of Interns. Relly BT Dub also says, would love to hear you guys talk about the direction of Star Wars. If you're into that stuff, Disney has kind of fucked it all up. Yes. Love to know your take on it.
That take.
You think they fucked it up?
Dude, it's just first of all, just so much. Every stormtrooper has his own show.
Right.
It's like I can't even follow this shit anymore.
Yeah, it's too much. And they got away from the big stuff, the movies.
Right.
Because they fucked them up. And the thing about Star Wars, if you asked me, we're in 2025, if you asked me 10 years ago, I would have picked Star Wars over Marvel from a cinematic universe standpoint. I was a big Star Wars guy. So my dad, do you remember when the original Star Wars trilogy was re-released in the theaters in like the mid-90s?
Yes.
They remastered them and all that shit. That was my first exposure to Star Wars. My dad was a big Star Wars guy. I never watched them. He was Star Wars, Star Trek. I was like, that shit sucks. Give me my comic book. But we didn't go to the movies a lot. Adrian went like 3 times, went to the Titanic and Star Wars with 2 of them for some reason. Anyways, I saw the first Star Wars and fell in love with it. This movie, amazing. So I love the original trilogy. I wasn't crazy about the prequel trilogy. I mean, the third one was probably the best. I didn't hate the newer ones, like the with what's my man, Oscar Isaac and all. Like the first 2 were pretty. The first one was great. The second one was pretty good. I didn't hate it like most people. The third one was ridiculous. The Rise of Skywalker. And to your point, all they're doing now are these just shows about all these obscure characters that nobody cares about. At least I don't. I think they ruined Boba Fett in that Boba Fett show. That's when I checked out. I watched about half of that. I'm like, I liked it better when I didn't know anything about Boba Fett.
Right.
I liked it better when he was this mysterious bounty hunter that looked cool as shit and just came through and fucked shit up.
Right.
Now you make him a bitch. I don't like that. And then halfway through the show, you got to bring the Mandalorian because the show sucks.
Right.
That's stupid. The Mandalorian, great.
Yeah, I did watch the whole Mandalorian.
Yeah.
But then little trivia, the chick that was in it, the big girl, she got booted for her political statements and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, she got
like it's like the guy with My Pillow, right. Shut up, make your money.
Shut up. Yeah. She got a little too much. Like, bro, we understand you stand on that, but you're gonna ruin your career, dude.
It's like, why do people use these opportunities? You are there to act,
right?
Not to use your acting as a political stage for your personal shit.
Correct.
Come on, dude.
Yeah.
You got to separate church and state.
Yep. So yeah, really, I would probably agree that Disney has fucked it up, and it pisses me off because of how much of a fan I was of Star Wars.
Right.
But now I don't even care. Like the Acolyte, these whatever Lost, some shit. Every week it's a new Star Wars show. I don't give a shit.
I was always more of a Star Trek fan.
You're a Trekkie
because of the tech.
Yeah.
Then I was Star Wars. But now they just released this new Star Trek show with the guy from Power.
Okay.
Ghost.
Yeah.
And I could only stomach like 3 minutes of it.
Yeah.
And so they're going the same route. But to me, Star Wars should have been decades ago where the comics and the MCU is today. That it should have evolved to that level, but it didn't.
Right. You have a favorite Star Wars movie?
Not really. Probably the first one, because it just introduced me to it, and then to me, it's just shit after that.
Got it. I would say my favorite.
And The Mandalorian. Not a movie. It's not a movie, but I would say The Mandalorian above all that is Star Wars. And then the first Star Wars.
Got it. I love The Mandalorian. I actually have to watch the 3rd season. I haven't seen that one yet. But from a movie standpoint, Empire Strikes Back is always going to be my favorite, the second one. And my second favorite is actually Rogue One. Have you ever seen this one?
I have.
This movie is phenomenal.
Yeah.
That's the right way to continue this story, but you need Luke Skywalker in it. You don't need all these. Darth Vader got a badass scene at the end. The story was great, and it tied into the original trilogy and didn't fuck anything up.
Right.
I can't tell you what the hell they're doing now. Anyways, moving on. Ryan Sandlin, he's also a member. He says, Intern 13 here. Okay, so he named himself. So Intern 13, I'm the same way on watching football. I'm not trying to answer all your questions about what's going on in the game just because you only watch once a year. Yes, yeah. So Adrian, sorry, you can't go to his house either,
That's all right.
Yeah. Josh Strickland, he's also a member. Dude, I remember when those people were in the stands with that creepy-ass smile. We were talking about the marketing for Smile. He says, I'd rather see Kanye's naked wife. I imagine many baseball fans would too. Spice that game. That'd get people to watch. I'd watch baseball again. Yeah, let her just walk around.
Dude, I just never got baseball, dude. I mean, I'm not a big sports fan on anything. I've actually gone to one basketball game in my life, professional.
Yeah.
One baseball game in New York, froze my ass off because you see the sun, but you don't realize how cool it gets in those stadiums.
Oh yeah,
dude, I had to take me and my son outside and stand on the streets just to warm up. So that wasn't a good experience. But I've just never really been one of those kind of. I'd rather watch it on TV because I don't have some nut job next to me vomiting on me or tossing a hot dog or some other bullshit.
Sure.
So I really can't. But baseball, I just never got it, dude. You play all day for 2 points.
Right.
Yeah,
I used to love baseball, but as an adult, it's just I don't have 10 hours a day to watch. And I know they have a pitch clock now that speeds up the game a little bit. But I like the steroid era.
Right.
I'm not I don't give a fuck. I like when they were hitting 50 home runs a year, 70 home runs. I want to see that shit.
Right.
Regulate it. Give them a limit. Hey, give them a safe limit. Give them all, that's all. That's other stuff. So, anyways, the Captain Canada, he's also a member. He says the Grammys are rigged. Yes, we talked about this on other stuff. Beyonce shouldn't have won. So many other good artists. No, but if you got a husband that bitch moans complain on stage, odds are you'll get a Grammy.
Well, just having a husband that bitch moans and complain doesn't do it. I mean,
you gotta be Jay-Z.
But I mean, if you're a billionaire, that bitch moans and complain, that makes the difference.
True. Number 2, he says the Thing looks proper. Yes, finally got him right. Looking forward to this movie in July. Same. Oh, Captain Canada says I think Malkovich could be Mole Man. So we'll see. And then 3, he says, let's get you guys an espresso and a kettle in the studio. Appreciate the new membership perk, fellas. Yeah, it's the least we could do. Caliborn Asshole. Okay, he's a member. Ooh. Yes. Signed up to watch more of my boys. Only Comics kicks fucking ass. Keep doing what you're doing, my dudes. Comics and WWE for life. Yes.
There you go.
That's it for the members. Now we got Plank the Tank. What up, Mike and Adrian? Another good show. Just a little disappointed it was a short one. We're used to 2-hour show. It was a short one last week, Adrian. Yeah. You know what? We're going to be like the guy, dude, we normally go longer than this. It doesn't always end this early. But we were traveling, dude. It was the best.
Dude, that sounds like a Shannon Sharp statement.
He did say, you didn't get the rest of the video, Okay, Shannon. Okay, buddy. Okay, bud. But he says, all these people out there think their experts are full of shit. Yes, no one is an expert. I hate that they nitpick at trailers. Just wait, watch the film, and have your opinion of it. And if it's not the same opinion as me, I don't care. Haha. Who do you guys think would win a fight, Blade versus Deathstroke? I'm going to say Blade. I don't even know much about their power sets.
I got to think about it. Okay. I mean, that'll be a good fight.
We'll do that one next week.
But I would say ultimately Blade.
All right. So right now you're saying Blade. I'll tell you what, Plank the Tank. We will add this to verses next week. This will be our verses. Fandom DeSaint says, damn, why buzzer on my boy CM Punk? You know why? Because fuck CM Punk. I don't want to see him win anything. He wins way too much. I like the days when he was in UFC getting his ass whooped. But anyways. But I will say this, fandom, I was never a big CM Punk fan. Never got the whole hype, but I do think, I do like his character since he's come back. So I'll give you that. Question, what did you think about the Royal Rumble? I honestly thought Cena, we just covered that. But yeah, I thought it was Cena too, but I think they did a great job of teasing the guy that everybody thought was going to win and then flipping the script.
Well, if Cena's going to have another year, they get they'll probably pitch him that one up on Ric Flair. So who knows?
But make him earn but
that's what they got to do.
Yes,
they got to take him out. They got to make him earn it over the next year or so, and then they'll give him that posthumous award or whatever.
Dude, I'd be down with him going the whole year and in his last match winning it and then relinquishing it. That'd be pretty. Make that his story this year. He can't win the big one again. He's old. He don't have what it takes. You know what I mean?
Sorry, whatever. Do a Mike Tyson fucking fight or whatever on Netflix.
Yeah,
with Cena.
Right.
I'm surprised though, Ric Flair after all these years. I remember watching Ric Flair.
Yeah,
Ric Flair and Andre the Giant and the Undertaker and all these boys and shit. I'm like, after all this time, nobody's won more than Ric Flair. Wow. Nope. Actually, Cena's matched him?
He's matched him now. Yeah, from a world title standpoint. Yep. Jay shot it. What'd you shoot, Jay? Actually, maybe don't tell us. He says, hey, Mike and Adrian, appreciate
droids over fucking Jersey.
Yeah, were you the one that got rid of them droids? Appreciate another shout out. Well, here's another one. My question for Mike, that's me. Since you are finishing up the Daredevil season 2, what do you think of Elodie Young's Elektra? I think Elodie Young's Elektra is amazing. I'd let her kill me. I thought she was great, and my top 5 characters for rivals to add are Ghost Rider, Sandman, Green Goblin, Cyclops, and Deadpool. I mean, I think all those would be fun to play as. Sandman would be pretty cool.
I think Sandman, I think I'm going to do him as a hidden gem. But I think Sandman is really underrated. Dude.
Yeah. Green Goblin would be fun as hell to play as. Cyclops too with his little blast. And I think Deadpool is like, you got Wolverine in it, you got to put Deadpool in the game. Right. Now, here's the question for you, Jay Shot. Would Rob Liefeld bitch, moan, and complain about not being in? Maybe we should put Rob Liefeld in the game.
Right.
Liefeld, whatever the fuck his name. We should put him in the game.
I think he thinks he should be like the Stan Lee with the cameos in every movie.
Except they'll be like, yo, who is that guy?
Right, exactly. Dude, shut up.
I don't even know who you are.
Now we're on the Spotify. So we are on Spotify too. So if you don't like YouTube for whatever reason, check us out on Spotify. Dean084 says, great show again, getting close to 100. We are getting close to 100, Adrian. We're at 95. 5 weeks will be at 100.
Nice.
Well done, thanks. He says, Adrian without a cap on looks a bit like DMC with a beard. Run DMC. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And Mike, first time I saw you, I thought you were Bully Ray. Okay, that's a wrestler. He's bald. He's got a little beard. Okay. I know this is a comic book related show, but what are the top our top 5 films of all time? Bro, Dean, you got to get this grammar down, bro. I can't be reading. You got me all fucked up on here. No comic book films allowed. Mine are 5, Terminator 2, 4, The Matrix, 3, Back to the Future, 2, The Warriors, and 1, A Nightmare on Elm Street. I love horror. That's a solid list. I respect that. Okay. We will give ours, Dean, on we'll do this next week.
What is the top 5? What?
Movies, no comic book movies.
Oh, okay.
Dean, that's kind of other stuff. So you might want to subscribe to other stuff. We're going to do that on other stuff next week, Adrian. LB Myers, okay, he who is right. I have a prediction for for Fantastic Four First Steps. I want to know if you've come up with one yet. Okay, well, where's your prediction, dude? My prediction is that, and this is kind of cheating a little bit because I did read some of these rumors. Well, it's not cheating because you can read the rumor and you decide if you think it's going to play out. So I do think Galactus is there after Franklin Richards. I think we will see Franklin Richards in this. And I also think we won't see Doom until the very end.
But if you see Franklin Richards, which means that the only reason that Franklin Richards exists is because Johnny and the Thing went to the negative zone to get the Cosmorod, which means that there's this other villain in the negative zone. I forget his name, Annihilus.
Yep.
So, I mean, we might have like a full-on board cast here, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. So, are you predicting Annihilus will show up?
I am not. I do predict that they will figure out a way to manipulate that.
Okay.
I mean, there would be a lot of people. So if you think about it, your antagonist or your villains would be Galactus. Then you're trying to introduce Doom. Then you got Annihilus. I'm not saying it can't happen because Annihilus is pretty much an unknown, right? Yeah. There could be a quick thing.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a big role.
Right. And then you got, the Fantastic Four, which is 4 of them. And then you got Franklin coming on board. And then you got Silver Surfer. So, I mean, they could pull it off. Obviously, with the Avengers, Infinity War and all, you can have a bunch of people, both heroes and villains, in one place at one time. Yep. So it would be interesting to see if they bring all these. And then, of course, you got my man Herbie, right? In the background. So I think it'll be a lot. We didn't talk about that. I think they could pull it off.
Yes. We didn't talk about that earlier. I love Herbie's design.
Yeah. I like the old retro, cassette. Yep. I mean, not cassette, reel for the eyes. That was pretty cool.
Here's another prediction. They're going to be selling Herbie toys and robots and shit, and there's probably going to be one on this table at some point.
Probably.
So Ben Friedman says the Fantastic Four trailer got me so excited. I wonder why we didn't see any of Mr. Fantastic's powers in the trailer. I think that they're saving that, dude.
Yeah, probably.
I think that the Thing looks perfect. Yes. He looks straight out of a Jack Kirby comic. I agree with that, and it makes me so happy. We brought happiness to Ben because we watched the trailer and told him about it. Obviously,
I just wish they would have made him a little bit taller, though. I mean, he's not a big guy. Right. I mean, he's definitely shorter than the Hulk. He's shorter than Colossus, even.
Right. Yeah, he does look a little short. Like Sue Storm looks taller than him.
Right.
But that, I mean, we had a fucking giant size Wolverine. I could deal with a slightly smaller thing. Like that ain't gonna ruin it for me.
Right.
JDC Dinos says, you guys should do a hidden gem on Iron Lad. Okay. Always making my Mondays great. Keep up the good work. Yes, we do, Adrian, make Mondays great again. Yep. We do. Okay. That's like MUGA. Not MAGA, MUGA. We gotta work on that one.
Alrighty.
Yeah. I don't.
Who is your dialect coach? The Minions?
I think so. Nate says, of course they drop a teaser after the episode. Scratching my head, but does the thing look weird to you guys, or is it just me? It's just you, Nate, and a few other people on here that are wrong. Sorry. But yeah, we did the episode like, yo, where's the trailer? And what happened, Adrian? They dropped the trailer.
There you go.
They're watching.
They most certainly they are.
Now we're going to find out, though, because if I see Kevin Feige's name as a Legion of Interns.
I was just going to say that they were watching, but they got to pick up on the other stuff.
Correct.
So, I mean, you can't steal if you don't subscribe, right?
Nope. Here's the thing. For everyone else, it's $4.99 a month. For Kevin Feige, it's going to be $5,000 a month, okay? Someone's got to pay for the coffee.
Exactly.
Here,
Exactly.
Shit. We, graduate to like tequila or something. Bray 438 says, love the show, man. Me and my little brother started watching last year after I got out the army. Well, you know what, Bray? Thanks for watching. Thanks for serving the country.
Absolutely.
Which leads me to my question. What is your guys' favorite character in the comics that is a veteran? Look at that. You're also a veteran, Adrian.
I am.
I mean, I'm just going to go with the obvious. Actually, no. My favorite comic, I was going to say Cap, Punisher. That's my favorite veteran.
I go with Cap.
Cap?
For a lot of reasons. I mean,
he's badass.
He's definitely badass.
Yep.
That Boy Scout thing gets under my skin a bit much, but I'll go with Cap.
Now we're on the TikTok, Adrian, so brace yourself. We know how they act.
Wait a minute. So since the Trump saved it, the Donald, is it now the TikTok?
Yes. Yeah, they're gonna rename it the TikTok. Brought to you by the Donald.
Right. That in the Gulf of Mexico.
Yes. Dude, that's just ridiculous. It's gonna name it to who cares?
You see the thing about I just saw the headlines briefly. Something about something's going on with the Panama Canal. The United States shut down the Panama Canal.
Yeah, we're gonna buy that too.
It's supposed to be ours.
Yep.
This is probably just a tactic to take it over.
Correct.
Same thing that they're gonna do with Tiamat's hand.
Yes.
They're gonna shut down the airspace around
Absolutely.
it and then take it over. It's probably a radiation leak or some shit. Gas
Dude,
leak.
I think you're on partly joking, but I think you're onto something. I think we will
as I am.
Of course you are, dude. But I think we will see Thunderbolt Ross almost act like the Donald a little bit. And, because of course we would, if that really happened, dude, we'd be the first ones there. Like, yo, it's our shit. Back the fuck up.
Right.
Anyways, so yes, on the TikTok brought to you by the Donald. IMO Yeti says, Magneto wipes out the entire DC universe. Yeah. Of course he does. Clown World 46. Bro, the thing looks great, but the voice needs improvement. Yep. Yeah, you agree with that. Nick Charlotte says the same basement dwellers who complain about Superman CGI are now doing the same thing with the Thing. Yes. Shut the fuck up. Go wash that stinking ass before your mama tells you off. Yes. I feel like you've seen Wedding Crashers, right?
Yes.
Like, Mom, the meatloaf.
Yep.
That's these motherfuckers, brother.
Mom, you gotta be. I almost shot you.
Yeah. Almost nunchucks your ass. BGJ. The Thing and Fantastic Four look amazing. Another great podcast, guys. You keep up the great work. Yeah, we intend to. The Lions guy. Oh, here we go. I said the best one for last. It's crazy. These two, talking about us, trying to tell someone to STFU, shut the fuck up, when in fact, both of these two idiots need to shut the fuck up. No, Lions guy, we are not going to shut the fuck up because we're going to do this every single week from now to eternity, Let
me see. I predict we'll see Lions guy again.
Yes. And that's always my biggest thing, like, to anyone that has, y'all, hey, did I fucking ask you to watch our shit?
Right.
Well, it hit my algorithm. You know what I do when things hit my algorithm that I don't want to see, Adrian? I just swipe by them.
Exactly.
I don't go comment and go, why are you doing this show that I don't like?
Right.
But like my man said back here, Lions guy's probably a basement dweller. He's probably waiting on his mom to serve him Pop-Tarts right now for breakfast.
Right.
Or cereal. Who knows? But anyways, we're going to move on, Adrian. We're going to move on to your segment.
He's probably still in the crib breastfeeding or some shit.
Damn.
I'm just, just speculating.
Right. He's yelling this. Martha. Anyways, we're moving on to your segment now called The Hidden Gem.
The Hidden Gem.
Yeah, this is the only comics. Who we got this week, dude?
All right. So we don't have an individual this week.
Okay.
We got a lineup.
Got it.
All right. So Fantastic Four is coming out. Galactus is the man in this one. So I thought it'd be interesting to go down the line of Galactus's heralds.
Okay.
Right? Now, cool. I was surprised even how many it were. It was. It's like almost 20 of them, like 18 or something, right? So Galactus, just a little brief. So his name was originally Gallon, like the car Gallant without the T.
Okay.
Right. One of the oldest and most powerful beings in existence. Survived the death of his previous universe, the sixth Cosmo, and birth into the seventh. All that stuff. So basically, what they're saying is he's been around a lot. So what happened was that, when he was crippled with insatiable hunger, right, that drives him to consume life in planets that can provide life, but not necessarily have life.
Yeah.
Obviously, if there's life on it, he can consume it. It's more, right? It's like cornflakes with sugar on it, or like in Raisin Brans with the raisins in them or something. Yeah, the brand will do it, but the raisins, top notch. Anyway, so
is it like raisins in potato salad or no?
Don't even take me down that line, because that's
some race swapping shit, right? That's DEI.
That's some disgusting shit. That's what that is. But anyway, so he figured out that it was easier and far more efficient for him to create create a herald.
Okay.
And a herald is somebody that goes before him. They seek out planets for him instead of him consuming his energy. That as soon as he eats, it starts draining from him anyway, right?
Got it.
So it was easier for him to.
He's got to recharge all the time.
Exactly. Constant state of recharging. That's like his weakness, obviously. And the more he depletes his energy, he shrinks. He has less. The more he shrinks, he has less power, so on and so forth.
Got it.
At his peak, like when he first consumes a planet, he is the most powerful. He is the largest, the most indestructible, right? And that's when he can create these heralds. So he creates a herald to go before him, so he doesn't have to do the searching, right? To find him a suitable planet to where he then shows up and devours it, right? So his first herald was the one called the Fallen One. This unpredictable herald, and basically unpredictable means that, and he has a few of these where, I'm going to find you a planet, but in the meantime, I'm going to do my own shit.
Yeah.
Right? And it got to the point where Galactus had to imprison him. He would break out. It's like Batman and the Joker. So Batman puts the Joker in Arkham.
Yeah.
He breaks out.
Like
Batman finds him again. So it was that continuous thing between Galactus and the Fallen One. Now, Galactus does have the capability, and he's only, I think, done it once, but he does have the capability to take the power cosmic away, because that's what he does. He gives you a power, a piece of him, basically. The power cosmic that allows you to go out, survive the rigors of space, and to summon him when they find a planet, things like that. So he does have the power to do that. He doesn't always do it. He chose not to do it with the Fallen One. So that's why they have this back and forth with imprisonment, unimprisonment, imprisonment, so on and so forth. The next one was, they call him the unknown because nobody knows who it was, where he came from. But this is the first time that Galactus actually visited Earth. And this was back in the time of Michelangelo. And the reason I say that is because the Brotherhood of the Shield actually defeated not just the Brotherhood of the Shield, but Galea, the Brotherhood of the Shield, and Michelangelo helped defeat Galactus back in the day at the cost of basically 2/3 of the Brotherhood. So that was the first time Galactus came around. That was that herald. Then came the Silver Surfer, which most of us know as Galactus' herald.
Right.
Right. Norrin Rad from Zen La. But the thing about it is that Galactus, Norrin Rad was very loyal, but Galactus kind of like fucked with his mind over time, to where, because Norrin Rad, he would always find these uninhabited planets for Galactus. And Galactus kind of like messed with his mind to the point where Norrin Rad didn't care whether it was inhabited or not.
Because Silver Surfer finds a planet, it's uninhabited.
Right.
Galactus, when he's draining this planet for his energy, he's draining the planet itself, not the people, right? Like
no, the life force of the planet and anything on it.
Got it.
The trees, anything that could give life.
But he doesn't need people on it to recharge. That's just his own sick shit.
Correct.
Okay.
I'm assuming the more life on it, the more life he can take. Kind of thing. That's why the Ghost Rider did that mind fuck with him and made him feel like the weight of all the billions of lives that he's taken.
Just with that look.
He didn't make him feel the weight of the planets, all the planets he destroyed, because there was really no life on it. I mean, plants, things like that.
Right.
But the billions of lives that he's taken, the Ghost Rider made him feel that.
Yeah.
So we all know the Silver Surfer. He's like the most popular of the heralds. Now. So what happened was when Norrin Rad, the Silver Surfer, came to Earth, he of course met up with Alicia, and it's almost like, I won't say it was like the Mr. Fantastic, Namor, Susan Richards kind of a hookup deal, but the Silver Surfer apparently ran across Alicia. Alicia is Ben Grimm's the blind girlfriend, right?
Yep.
And she convinced him to. She saw the good in Norrin Rad and helped convince him to turn Silver Surfer against Galactus. And then Galactus got pissed off. He didn't take his powers from him, but he trapped him on Earth. Literally, the Silver Surfer could not leave the boundaries of the Earth's atmosphere.
Yeah.
So then you get into after that. So locked up Silver Surfer on Earth, the Airwalker. Gabriel Land, a Zendarian space captain, befriended Galactus. They actually became friends. He ultimately sacrificed himself to save Galactus. Later on, Galactus created an android. He was such friends with him. He was too weak to resurrect him and give his powers back.
Yeah.
So later on, he basically transferred his essence into this android lookalike, but he ultimately got rid of the android because even though he transferred his life essence into the android didn't have that same relationship with him. He was like a mindless automaton going about. So when he came up with the next guy, Herald, Firelord, he dismissed the android, basically left him on Earth, so he came, and that android came back and forth throughout these other heralds for other reasons, and I'll get into it.
Got it.
So the next one, Firelord, Pyrus Krill, he was actually the first officer on the ship from the Airwalker. So he was always looking for Galactus because he wanted to find out what happened to his captain. So he eventually found Galactus snuck on his ship and confronted Galactus. And he was like, Galactus said, hey, he was so impressed with his forwardness and his tenacity. How dare you come on my ship kind of thing. That he said, I will tell you what the fate of your captain if you agree to become my herald, which he did. Okay. So that became him. Let me see, Firelord. What happened with Firelord? He became new herald, buried the android. Thor gave Galactus the destroyer. Something happened to Firelord where they ran across Thor, and the Firelord went away, but then Thor gave... You remember the destroyer in the first Thor with the eyes?
Yeah.
So Thor gave Galactus that for a herald.
Yeah.
That didn't work out because he was just another mindless automaton. There was nothing there, right? So he got rid of the destroyer. Then he went to Terrax, and Terrax is one of the second heralds that I remember. He was just a badass because Terrax reminded me of Terra from the Teen Titans. Okay. They both had the same power set. Now the difference with Terrax was he already had the power to animate like rock and stone and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So Galactus had to treat him a little differently. He had to do something specific with him before he turned him into a herald. Okay. He kind of had to elevate his existing powers, then give him a piece of the power cosmic. Then a Terrax, he was pretty much an asshole, right?
Yeah.
Again, one of those heralds that had his own agenda. Because he was already a conqueror, what he would do was he would use his time in between Galactus's feedings to go and conquer planets for himself. He was already a conqueror on his own, so he went in. He would also conquer other planets for himself, in addition to finding Galactus planets to devour. So that didn't work out. That's when Frankie Ray came in, Nova.
Yeah.
So Galactus shows up. Frankie said, hey, instead of devouring this planet, I'll become your herald. That's where you see the scene of Johnny flying up, trying to follow Frankie, so on and so forth. She actually gets killed later on.
Yeah.
So now this one, I kind of felt the next one I kind of felt some kind of way about Morg, the executioner, because listen to this language. He was the only one that was pliable enough to remain loyal to his master. Now, him being the only black herald, obviously they're going to use that language, dude.
Yeah.
I'm like, really? We got to do this too?
Are you saying this is slavery?
Pliable enough, which goes back to what I was saying earlier about, why they always got to, they just gave him a name and all of a sudden he agrees with it.
Yep.
So pliable enough to be loyal to his. I'm like, we didn't even have to go there, but they did. But ultimately he became, Galactus increased his power like a couple of times to the point where they used the master language, but he also became one of Galactus's most powerful heralds because Galactus jacked him up a couple of times throughout his thing, right?
Got it.
Red Shift. Nobody really knows a lot about him, but he was after Moog. Then Johnny Storm actually became a herald. But then Johnny used because when Galactus gives them a piece of his powers, so he actually used his power to kind of probe Galactus, to find out what his weakness was, and he told Reed what that weakness was. So then weakness basically turned him back to, Gallon, and exiled him to another dimension. Stardust comes into the picture. So eventually Gallon becomes Galactus again. Stardust comes in there. He sends him out doing his thing. Now, there's a part in here called the Annihilation. This is imagine a bunch of spacefaring bugs, right? They're going around destroying every planet. There was an event where there was a character called the Annihilus who led these spacefaring things. So they kind of get into it. Hunger, that was the next one. So Annihilation was not a herald. It was an event in which all the other former heralds of Galactus had to come together to help defeat this Annihilus character, right? Got it. Hunger. Upon Galactus' arrival at Earth, 1610, he was merged with this individual. Let me see. Merged with and used portions of the collective of machines. We just call it another herald. Inconsequential, but it was an event that happened right after the Annihilation. Anti-Man. At some point, Galactus became this life bringer. So instead of destroying worlds, he's now giving life to worlds. But he still needed a herald. Anti-Man came in, then Starbrand, then Thor. He reluctantly became a herald, but he became a herald nonetheless. And then the Reckoning. So all of these different heralds, all with different abilities, capabilities. Some had their own agenda. Some did not. When they became, typically what was happening was when Galactus got rid of them or they parted ways for whatever reason, he allowed them to keep the power that he gave him, like the Silver Surfer and all these other people. But what's interesting is that you have so much power that you can give another being a piece of this power and then allow them to keep the power, right? So that's just how badass Galactus is. Now, when I was going through this, I was like, well, some things were like, well, who's the most powerful?
That was gonna be my question.
Of Galactus's heralds, right? So now I mentioned Thor, I mentioned Moog, but apparently the three most powerful was Thor. So when Galactus empowered him, he became almost omnipotent, all powerful, all seeing, all everything, right? The Hulk apparently was So Galactus in one universe came to Earth, destroyed all of Earth except for Thor. Thor begged him to kill him. Galactus denied him that request, but instead made him his herald. And he agreed to that. And then Tyrant was almost as powerful as Galactus, but he didn't go around consuming planets. Then the first female was Frankie Ray, right? And then who does Galactus fear the most? Remember Tiamat?
Yep.
That's who Galactus fears the most. Remember I said?
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I didn't get into the why, but I'm assuming so. Tiamat is these like there's certain entities that, regardless of the number of universes there are, they exist. There's only one of them across all those planes. I think Tiamat is one of those entities, kind of like Galactus too. Like I said, I don't think there's multiple Galactuses, but I think Tiamat precedes Galactus, so his power is probably incalculable.
Yeah.
And something that, so imagine how Galactus looks to an Earthling. Probably Tiamat looks that way to Galactus.
Got it.
So, I mean, also like some of the things like how do these heralds get around? A lot of them, they go under their own power. Like Terex, he would like snap off a piece of a moon or something and ride around on a rock. Yep. Silver Surfer with the surfboard, they don't need it.
Right.
They can fly around. They can move through space on their own.
Got it.
Weapons, they don't really need them. Some of them wield them. Terex, he had like an axe. Didn't really need it. Probably is just like like smoking a cigarette, like a habit thing. Obviously, Silver Surfer, he didn't need this. The surfboard could do things, but most of his powers came from him.
Right.
So just an interesting mix of, basically he would find heralds anywhere, give them power. They would go out. They would do their own shit, or they wouldn't. But he had to get rid of most of them, or they became to the point where they would actually sacrifice themselves for him. So a bunch of interesting characters. I thought that it would be interesting to say, okay, because I always liked the Frankie Ray dynamic.
Yeah.
You know, she chose because she was bored with the Fantastic Four, and she wanted to do more with her life. Yeah. And Galactus was like, yeah, I like your tenacity. So I'm just going to give you the power. And then bounce.
Yeah, I got something for you.
So, and she bounced, dude, like, fuck Johnny.
Right.
Johnny was trying to, like, Frankie, come back. She was like, I'm out, dude.
Yeah, he was
and ultimately she got killed. But there's different variants of where she actually didn't get killed, or she got resurrected, or some other bullshit. But anyway.
Nice. Well, it caught me by surprise. It was a very creative hidden gem, Adrian. The only herald I think the only one most of us really knew was Silver Surfer.
Right.
I mean, obviously the Thors and Human Torch that became heralds, but you actually did Frankie Ray as a hidden gem probably a year ago now. And we do know that Galactus will be seen in the Fantastic Four movie. A different version of Silver Surfer, who is actually in the comics Norman Rad's wife, Shala Bal. And there is we talked about it here a few weeks ago, there is a story where she becomes that Silver Surfer, so I think that's what they're doing here. So I'm curious if a Norman Rad will show up eventually. I do think one of the good things about, and there aren't many, of the old Fantastic Four movies, the second one was the Silver Surfer presence, and even that, like people talk about CGI, it wasn't the greatest, but it was pretty cool. It's held up enough to where you can watch it and not be distracted, right?
Actually, I think I mentioned this before. They spent so much time on his CGI that they pooch screwed Galactus.
Right, yeah. That's probably why, right? Yeah, well, they'll make him a big fucking cloud. Let's just
nobody will notice.
Yeah, no one will be upset about that. So it's like, yo, what is going through these guys' heads? Like, you have this years and I mean, we're talking almost a decade of comic book history. I'm not saying you have to copy everything from the fucking comic, but you're going to change something.
Wait a minute. A decade of comic book history, or a century?
A century.
Okay.
Yes.
Maybe. I mean, I would say a decade of comic book movies.
Sure.
But yeah. Okay.
Well, you're right. You have a century almost of damn comic book history. Again, you don't have to recreate every single thing from the comics, but it's like, are you only focused on a new audience, or do you want to take that comic book fan audience with you too? And if you are, you can't do things like changing Galactus into a cloud.
I've said this before. I think these guys, they don't give a shit about the character.
Nope.
They want to make their own. They want to make themselves immortal by making a character their version of that character.
Right.
It's like, okay, so we got a Harrison Ford Red Hulk now.
Yep.
We had the previous whoever the fathead guy that played the other Hulk. So it's like they want to draw the line in the sand in history for themselves by altering these characters and making them so different than everybody else. Yeah. You can just look at Mark Ruffalo Hulk, Harrison Ford Hulk, whatever Spider-Man. It's nonsense, and Marvel should stop it. Right. Just stop it.
Good thing, though, they haven't been as bad as Sony was with this whole thing. And funny thing, we didn't talk about this in Comic News and Rumors, but Todd McFarlane is actually the guy who created Venom.
Right.
He came out and said that, we'll talk about this more in other stuff, but he basically said that Venom's not a good guy. I don't know why they did that in the movie. And if I made the movie, it would have been rated R. Right. Shit. So we were talking about that more on other stuff. We got the Venom shirt on today. But I agree with my man, Todd. So, well, that is Hidden Gem. We are going to move on to Agree to Disagree. This is where I throw out. I got 10 this week, Adrian, so you better get ready over there. 10 of my opinions that I made up today, or maybe on my way through the snow or whatever, Or so I'm going to throw these out at you. You're going to let me know if you agree or disagree. And I'll give you a spoiler. Adrian usually agrees with a lot of them. That's partly why we do this show together. But where the real fun comes is where, as my friend on TikTok called.
Wait a minute. Did you just say that I'm on this show because I agree with most of the things that you say? I'm done. This is bullshit. I'm done.
That's the only reason why you're here. No, but people probably think that.
All right.
I would say this. We have a lot of similar tastes when it comes to comics, okay? So I'm always right. That means Adrian's usually right. It's how it works, dude, So
we kind of crossing boundaries, right? Loosely. That's about right.
Loosely. But the real fun, Adrian, is when the basement dwellers get, they get offended. They get so mad sometimes. Like they get upset. Like if I walked in their house and slapped their mother just by me saying Magneto would destroy, the Justice League or something like that. But anyways, are you ready?
Let's do it.
Let's fucking go.
All right. Number one, there's nothing wrong with the CGI on The Thing in the Fantastic Four First Steps trailer.
Great.
Only basement dwellers have issues with the CGI in trailers.
I disagree.
Okay.
I think a lot of people have problems with different things. We just hear about the basement dwellers.
Okay. Cereal. Well, speaking of basement dwellers, they're probably waiting for Pop-Tarts and cereal. So I thought this fit. Cereal goes in the bowl first, and then you pour the milk on top.
Absolutely.
Right. Could you imagine putting milk first and then cereal? Who does that?
So before my family could afford Frosted Flakes, right?
Yep.
We had the government, so we would get this box.
Okay.
The government cheese, which is still the best. Government cheese is the best cheese that ever existed, right? So we get the government cheese, the cornflakes, not the frosted, the cornflakes, right? The powdered milk and a couple other things, right? The crackers, things like that.
Right.
So we would get the milk, which we had to make out of the powdered milk.
Yep.
So we mix it in a way. You put the sugar in the milk as you're mixing up the thing. So now you got the sugary milk. Then you put in the Frosted Flake. But either way, now in that case, that's when the milk proceeded.
Oh, so back then you put milk in first.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Because you had to mix it.
Okay.
Imagine mixing. You put the cereal in, put powdered milk in, then you put the water, so you got a whole mess.
I got you.
So you had to do the opposite back then.
So I guess we're depending on the milk.
Yes.
Gallon of milk, we're dropping that Frosted Flakes mountain in there first.
Exactly.
And let me tell you how you know it's enough milk, Adrian. Okay, so you got your Frosted Flakes in there.
Yep.
You're pouring in the milk. When you see that Frosted Flakes start to rise up, then you're good, dude.
Actually, I do even do it before that. When I see the milk crest, so you got a mountain, right?
Yep.
When I see the milk crest, the sides of the mountain, that's when I stop, because anything after that, you're going to end up with too much.
Correct. And what does this have to do with comics? Nothing. Because this is only comics where we discuss comics and only comics.
And the rise and fall of milk and cereal bowls.
Yes, absolutely. Which we call other stuff. There's a whole other show for that. So, all right, next. The NFL is not rigged. Fans are just crybabies.
I don't know how to respond to that, because the NFL is rigged, and
so
people are crybabies.
Okay.
Babies.
So you disagree that it's not rigged?
Okay.
Rob Liefeld should take his check and shut the fuck up.
I agree.
Lex Luthor was right about Superman.
Yes.
Denzel should not play Magneto in Black Panther 3.
He should not.
But based on the current climate, he probably will.
Oh, man, come on. Come on, dog.
You agree or not?
No, I don't agree.
Okay. Todd McFarlane is right about Venom not being a good guy.
I agree.
Last but not least, everybody watching should go to our YouTube channel and join the League of Interns so they can get more other stuff.
Agree.
There we go. Well, that's agree to disagree. That's this week's show. So if you want more, so if one of our friends was like, it was too short. Well, we're not going to be that guy that goes, hey, we normally go long. No, we do go longer.
Yes.
And we're going to go longer next on other stuff. So that's going to drop in a couple days. So if you're not a member of the Legion of Interns, join us, please. And also that is going to be something that evolves and grows. So just like this show, like people started suggesting hidden gems. The Versus segment was created by people asking questions.
Right.
So we're very inclusive here.
Exactly.
In the right way.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
We don't have DEI hires. Adrian's not a DEI hire. No. He's just here because it makes sense.
I'm not a hire.
No, you're not a hire. He's just here because he's
just fun with Mike and Adrian.
There
That's
you
all
go.
it is.
Yes. That's going to be the third podcast. It's fun with Mike and Adrian. And when we make it big time, that's when Kevin Feige signs up.
No, that's when Kevin Feige admits that he's signing up.
Yes. Yeah, there's that part. Yes, absolutely. So next week, we have a big show next week.
Yeah.
Captain America Brave New World. We're going to have 2 more episodes of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spiderman, 2 or 3. I think, actually, let me, I don't want to lie to you. I would never want to lie to anyone on this podcast. We have 3 episodes of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spiderman, Captain America Brave New World, and then we're going to have Blade versus Deathstroke as our verses. And
where we're going to put in the Adamantium versus Vibranium.
Oh, maybe we'll do that on other stuff next week. Okay. Yeah, you give something to the Legion of Interns,
Yeah.
So, well, that's it for this week's show. Adrian, thanks for coming out.
Absolutely.
Driving through the blizzard conditions out there.
There's that.
It was like Emma Frost was out there or something. I don't know.
Dude, if Emma Frost was out there, I would be pulling over.
You wouldn't be here. I'd be by myself.
I wouldn't be here, dude.
It'd just be me and the interns.
Yep.
I'm with you. So, anyways, thanks for coming out, guys. Thanks for watching, subscribing, and seriously, thank all y'all that jumped on the membership, all you day ones. Also, some of y'all said you would and you didn't, so you put your money where your mouth is now.
That's it.
But we're going to keep bringing this to you now, 2 shows a week. And, guys, we're going to be, my plan, I said this before on here, Adrian, is to be one of the most interactive shows on YouTube. And also, I got a little sneak peek. Next week, we're going to have a comic book artist on join us virtually. So he's a writer. I won't say his name yet, but he's done some Dracula comics that did pretty well. And he's getting ready to launch a new series. He's got a Kickstarter or a fundraiser type, I don't know what the hell it's called. Like a GoFundMe, like what people do when they die and they don't have life insurance, and GoFundMe. But he's doing one to start his comic book.
Okay.
So we're gonna have him on. Actually, someone that I met, associates of his at the Terrificon in Mohegan Sun last year. So. That being said, if you haven't joined Legion of, it's a League of Shadows, that's what we should have called it. Right. Legion of Interns, take care of that. But we appreciate y'all checking us out. Subscribe, share this with your friends, and you know where to find us every week right here on Only Comics. We'll see you next week.
Peace.